Hello, everybody, and welcome to this stream. What's up? So, hello, I'm Josh, and we're doing a test stream here. We're doing some fun live casual games, and I need to mute this. What? Why isn't it muted? I can hear myself. Oh, I think I know what's not muted. Fantastic. We're good to go. So, this is going to be Josh Greenway versus Chris Sykes. And we're testing a new board setup. So this is what's important here. See how this board setup looks. To see how this board setup looks. And that's it, really, honestly. This is like new technology. And that's about it. I shouldn't have muted that. I muted that. I'm the only one here. I'll get like dialed in. Everything will be good. I don't actually know who was first. Is the person on the top first or the person on the bottom first? But we'll figure it out. And everything should work as smoothly as can be. So welcome to Maris, welcome to Skylar, welcome to Josh, welcome to Churro, welcome to Adam. So we're streaming on my Twitch channel, and we're streaming on so Chris is first. Okay. We're streaming on the Let's Play Scrabble channel on YouTube. So let's input this rack. Wow, this is beautiful. This is gorgeous. Look at this setup. Oh my god. It's very nice. What do you guys think? The new board is very blurry. I'm seeing that too, for some reason. Oh, I think I know why. I think I know why the board is blurry. But I think it'll be fine. So Chris looks like he's going to be exchanging. This makes sense with this rack. So to me, the right rack is not blurry and the left rack is, and that's because of focus. But the board being blurry is something else, I think. I think the board being blurry, I know why that is. But yeah, all the feedback in the world is what we want for this stream. So let's put QI on the board. That seems like the correct play as well. And oops. What a terrible draw for Chris. Jesus. That's like not cool. Not cool at all. He draws EUU to his exchange. Hey, Frankie. And yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. So I think they're just going to be playing these games out, but I'm not entirely sure. We talked about ideas. Since Chris is like an established top player, Josh is an established, you know, mid-tier player. But Chris plays Corn, which is surprising to me. I mean, I don't think it's a bad play, but he plays really fast, and sometimes he plays surprisingly fast. I wonder if he missed Took in that position through the queue there. That would have gotten rid of both of the U's, and yeah. And we see Josh draws the blank, but yeah, the rack is a bit blurry, and I'll tell him that. I think the reason the left rack is blurry is because of the autofocus of the camera. The autofocus is like on the blink a little bit, on the fritz. So when I've set these sorts of things up, it all right, I need to update the scores as well. When I set these things up, I need to make sure that the focus on the racks is always like correct. But right now it looks like it's focusing on like the background rather than the foreground. Um, anyways, as an established bottom tier player, you're offended. But I think, yeah, the board cam, that is kind of unfortunate. And what I will say is the reason, and Oaf is a good play. Oaf, I think, is probably the best play. You could also play Tofu, an ant, putting the T on that AN, but I think Oaf is a decent option, but it does retain that U. And YEA was also a good play by Josh. He had how many? Yeah, he only had one bingo available that Adam noticed in the chat. But yeah, I know why the blurriness is happening on the racks. I don't know why the blurriness is happening on the board. Basically, what this setup is what you've maybe already seen before, but the difference is the camera. Yeah, the camera's attached to the board. That's how they've been doing it. Let's Play Scrabble at their tournaments. But the camera is a cell phone camera, and the cell phone is broadcasting information to through the internet. So it could be that the quality is down because of that. But that would be really unfortunate, and I'd be surprised if that couldn't be fixed. But yeah, the board is slightly blurry, which is definitely sad. But yeah, it still looks really good. I mean, this new board that Josh created, like, it's just very very tight. It's very tight. It's very yeah. So like he made this board himself basically. He got help from a few people, but he created this board that can handle being rotated. And you guys are probably seeing the board being rotated, but there's like no there's very minimal wobble. So yeah. Hey Ruby. And Frankie says the board looks fine. Yeah, I mean this is also being like multi-streamed um, on Twitch and on YouTube. So I wouldn't be surprised if like my camera, which is supposed to be 1080p, was like sort of blurry as well. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So Josh has this pretty good looking rack with a lot of high probability things on it, but he's gonna have to find those. And there's honestly not that many words that fit here. I only see one myself. There's three. Hey, Eric. Yeah, Celosia and Lorikai. Yeah, I didn't even see Celosia. So that would be the best play, Celosia, making the blank an S, putting the S onto QI. And yeah, I saw Lorikai, which is, I think, maybe the most natural thing to find if you know your high probability words. There's also Aloetic. So yeah, he's missing those. He plays Aloe, which is very unfortunate. Oh, that's too bad. I hate when I play like part of the bingo instead of the bingo. That's just, yeah, that's very sad. But you know, not everybody has those high probs just like stacked in their brain. I certainly don't. 4 of you guys in Guangzhou are playing Scrabble at Starbucks. Nice. Yeah, no, there are some players that for some reason maybe they just drilled the high probability words into their mind, and high probability words being words that come up very often based on the distribution of tiles. So words that contain 1 point tiles, especially like E's, I's, A's. Those are the high probability words. And those are one of the first groups of words that you learn um, when you're trying to improve at Scrabble. But yeah, some people don't. Like you could get to where Josh Greenway is. He's rated around, I think, 14, 1500. Um, you could get to actually even 1700 if you have like a very sharp mind without learning those words like solidly. So Chris is playing Leo. Yeah, he's finally trying to get rid of his U, his second U that he drew after his exchange. But he's only scoring 5 points. And I don't really know what he should have done there. Honestly, that looks pretty good. His plays kind of sucked. So I think that decision was fine. And yeah, Josh has another very good looking rack, but with those blanks, it's so hard to spot all the possibilities. He's seeing like enriched, if he could have, or enriches if there was a D, an R, or an S on the board. But yeah, those are not going to fit. Oh, yes, Josh has drawn Chinese. So Chinese, that's a word that's valid in CSW lexicon only. So this game is being played in the NWL 20 lexicon. So the word Chinese, I don't actually know what that's supposed to mean. But if you're in my Twitch chat, you can define it. And it'll tell you what the definition of that word is. But Japan, yeah, Japan is definitely a word. Okay, so a Chinese is a Chinese. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. So Josh is going on and playing Hick. He didn't actually have any playable bingos there, so he used not that much time, which is really like impressive actually. That he's just like decided, you know what, I'm not gonna find this, even if I have it, and I'm not gonna waste my time. If I don't see the word like after a minute or two, like I gotta make my move. And time management's really important. Um, so I definitely appreciate that Josh didn't spend all of his time looking there. Um, yeah, but if you order Chinese, it should still be a capitalized word, the atom. That's all I'm saying. Like, even if it's in colloquial speech, who decided that it's not capitalized is what I'm saying. And hotel comes down for Chris Sykes. That's his best play. He didn't have an N to play through for Anethole, Anethole. So that looks pretty good. And Josh, another very nice looking rack. And now he's gotten some consonants to play through. So I'm hoping he finds something here. There must be something through the T. There must be, yeah, there's at least tenor men, but that's very difficult to find. He could play Hermione and channel his inner Harry Potter. Is there anything like common? Oh, there's a really nice word. Yeah, horsemen. It would feel weird for you to capitalize Chinese. That's interesting. Cool, Frank. Um, yeah, horsemen would be really, really good find. That's a tough one. And yeah, as well, like there's really nothing super common here. Like he could maybe find newcomer through the C, but that requires making the blank a W and even looking through the C, which is kind of crazy. So maybe mentored. If he finds mentored through the T, that's the likeliest thing. You're a noob in this, so you ask, do you think pros also think about playing around possible word from the opponent? Um, Biagio Biagin asks that question on Twitch. I'm trying to understand what that question means. Do you mean trying to play using the word the opponent just made, or trying to play around the words the opponent might be playing? Because if it's the latter, I will let you know that. Oh, I need to update the score. I will let you know that um, the players don't know what the other player has on their racks. That is hidden information. So you can't do that until the end of the game, because at the end of the game, you see those. You see that graphic on the left that has all the letters in alphabetical order. So those are the remaining letters from the point of view of the person that's on turn. And at the end of the game, there will be no letters left to draw for either of the players because there's 100 letters to draw total. And at that point, wow, is he seeing Tennerman here? Oh my god. That'd be amazing if he puts that down. At the end of the game, you can know what your opponent has because you'll be tracking the letters that have been played throughout the game. But until then, you don't know what your opponent has unless you've somehow seen their letters by mistake, like they let them drop on the table, which shouldn't ever happen. Or maybe they played all of their letters and they played a word that isn't valid and you challenged the word off the board. Then you would know what they have. But that's the only time where you know what your opponent has, either at the end of the game or if they've made a mistake. So at this moment, neither player knows what the other has, so they can't play around that information. And they wouldn't want to. That would make the game way too difficult, I would think. Like, I'd rather not have that information. Um, and as you said, like it could be very difficult to do that. It is. It's you don't want to start by looking at what your opponent can do. You want to see what you can do. You want to like build your own story. So lots of people have suggested like to remove the luck factor in Scrabble would be to play open. It wouldn't remove the luck factor, but it would change the luck factor enormously. Okay, now Josh is taking a really long time. I'm glad because I'm trying to explain a concept here. That would sort of make the game a lot more skill based, I guess, but it would also make the game really boring to me and really painstaking. What is this? What is he doing? Motor. Whatever that isn't a word. What is that? I assume whatever it is, Chris Sykes is going to challenge. Yeah, he does challenge. Okay, you guys have to decide what I'm gonna make the blank. Oh, motel no, motor men? I don't know. He's gonna show it. He's gonna show it. Hold on. Mo motor yeah, it's motor men. Wow. Motor men. What is that? I'm gonna have to ask Josh about that. Unfortunate mistake there. Yeah, maybe he's thinking of the MOTOR. Yeah, that's a funny weird moment. I mean, again, these players have very different skill levels. Um, Josh is way more skilled at organizing tournaments, directing tournaments, creating content, directing content, producing content. All these things that Chris doesn't do at all. So like Josh has Chris beat on all of those fronts. But Chris, yeah, definitely the superior player. Um, so we'll see some mistakes like that for sure. But yeah, that was yeah, he was just misspelling motormen. Also, sometimes hidden info protects you from the luck factor in the sense that having more variables kind of balances the weight. That's true, Yagio. That's very profound. Yeah, that's a really yeah, that's a really good point. What program do we use to check words? We use multiple programs. Right now, the one that I'm using is called Wordsmith, where someone just put like the lexicon in the into the program, and this is exactly what we were talking about. Actually, now Chris Sykes knows exactly what Josh has, and is going to have to deal with that information. So instead of playing fast like he usually does, now he's probably just like has way too much information overload and is trying to figure out, okay, what can Josh play? And then when he finds out what Josh can play, maybe he's these horsemen. He's like, oh, should I block horsemen? What am I doing here? He can't just do whatever he wants. He's going to have to factor in what Josh has. So this sort of thing could just like screw with you. But yeah, I think Chris is making the right decision here to like just not think about it. Just be like, you know what? Let Josh. I mean, he missed everything last turn. Let's let him miss it again if he does, and doesn't. Well, whatever. That's fine. And he plays Zek, which is. I mean, he could have played that for one more point, making KHI. Just a few spots to the left, but yeah, this is 45 points. It's very nice. Oh, so the board appears blurry, but the tiles are. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, that's good. It's way less blurry than I expected them to be, at least. Yeah, you say if your opponent doesn't find a valid bingo, bingo being a word using all their tiles, on the first go ahead, then I'm not going to waste my time trying to prevent that. I mean, it depends on the context. But yeah, the tiles aren't very sharp. I will message Josh at the end of this game to tell him to work on the focus of the cameras. But it should be good other than that. Like, I don't know if the board camera is going to get any better. It really depends on the quality of the camera and the connection. But the rack cameras definitely can. They're just focusing on the wrong element right now. And I think I showed Josh how to fix that once. This is a live game, yeah, like Buxland. It's not a tournament. It's just some casual games testing this new setup. So yeah, all the feedback you guys want to give is fair game here. Mostly, I mean, we mostly know already, like in terms of the cameras. But I mean, I think I haven't even noticed the board rotating. I probably, if I paid attention, I would notice it. But it's looking really good for just like the camera following the board. Okay, so Josh is gonna play Omen. Yeah, he's missing his stuff again. Like, and those blanks are so hard to use. They're so good, but you have to just find so many more possibilities than you're used to. So yeah, Josh misses. There are only a few bingos there that were like very, I would say, gettable. Like Mentored is gettable, but Omen isn't much worse than Mentored. So yeah, this is fine. But oh, nice find by Chris Sykes of Dingbat. I didn't even see that. So you could have played Debating through the Ian Allo, which is a lot easier to find. But Dingbat is a beautiful find for 72 points. All right, let me catch up on chat here. Is that an I? Yes. I think that's an I. Yes. So Josh is going to find something here because now he has an S to go with this blank. I'm updating everything, Muffin Tentacle. Oh, Chris has been playing upside down. That's exactly right, Heidi. Oh, I think we didn't think of this when we were setting this up, that Chris often plays upside down. So we won't even see the the board moving, so we can't even test that aspect of it. That's really funny. Anyways. Let's catch up on chat. Yeah, Octavia says, pretty sure I already saw you on on another channel. Yeah, you've seen me on multiple channels, yeah, Octavius. I watch a lot of chess. I think Eric is my second most watched streamer, so you'd probably see me there if you hang around there. On Twitch, Biagin says, do Scrabble players also enjoy words on stream? We have a better program than that. We have InfiniWords. Words on stream, I mean, some of us enjoy that, but you can't. If you play that game enough, you just see the same things over and over and over again, and it gets really tiresome. Yeah, Ancient Cosmographer, the moderator in my Twitch channel, has created that. He created that program, InfiniWords. I don't know. Words on stream is fun, but then it isn't once you realize that they have such a limited amount of tables to work with. So it's just like remembering what the tables were. Okay, Miserion, Tristan says. That would be really cool. That's a really cool word. Unfortunately, wouldn't fit on the board. So let me answer Maris's question. Eric plays Scrabble a lot, actually. Sometimes on stream as well. Josh, on that rare occasion that you play a low-rated player, do you consider that you could play almost anything and he or she would be afraid to challenge it? There were times where that was my go-to when I was playing the very low-rated players, but I have since matured and decided that if I can't beat them fair and square, like, it's no fun. Like, sure, it was fun to just like play whatever I wanted at some points in my life and just like, but it's like it's not fun for them to be like, oh, he's just like played another phony. It's like it's not good sportsmanship. So unless it's like a tournament scenario where I really need to win by a lot, I'm just gonna play normally. And maybe I'll try things I'm less sure of, and maybe I won't. So okay, Josh is playing worries here. So that's a good play. He had one higher scoring option of Rister, but this is pretty good. Let's update that. Yes, Bobby, absolutely. InfiniWords supports CSW. You can use it for CSW. You can use it as your own studying tool. Actually, if you come to my Twitch channel, I have a command for InfiniWords, but I don't know if you can find it by Googling it, but I hope so. I hope you can. But yeah, you can use it as your own personal studying tool. You could also use it as a tool for Twitch interactivity. Have other people solve words as well as you. You watched a YouTube video where I played 5 phonies in one game. Yes, Beyond Mediocre Mandarin. And that was not against a weak player. That was against a player of similar strength who just had a much more polarized skill set. So a player that's very good at strategy, finding plays, and all that sort of thing, but not good at knowing the words. So at that point, I was able to just play pretty much anything, and he was afraid to challenge. So yes, I have done that, and that game was from, I don't know, like 7 years ago or maybe more. And sometimes the phonies that I play, I think, are potentially valid words. So Chris has a 21-point lead still, and he's playing ruler, which is a nice way to get rid of low-scoring tiles, and also block that H, I guess, for later. So I like this play. But he actually had a bingo there. Oh wow, he had a bingo of unrealer through the E. That, I mean, you might see that word and think unrealer. How could that possibly be a word? But it is. So Josh's gonna play wary. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. This is a pretty automatic play. He could get rid of the V and play VAW on top of the OME of omens, and that'll leave him with much more workable letters, but this scores a little bit more and gets rid of a big scoring spot and takes a 4-point lead. So that's cool. Oh, that's true. The tiles on the board do look like a different color. Huh. So he's just messed with the source, the camera source, and made it like much more um, saturated. That's very interesting. Hey, John Lee, how's it going? You can shout yourself out. I'm currently multi-streaming from not my own setup. So apologies if I'm missing stuff that people are saying. Let me try to find everything. Did I say hello to Cthulhu? I hope so. The V is worse than the W. Or maybe you just want weaker players to think I won't play phonies. It's not really that useful. What's more useful is wanting like mid-range players to think that I don't play phonies, and then I'll just like unload it on them at some point. Mopo. Oh, because yes, Luckbox Lind answers that question very well. UW is probably worse than UV. Yeah, yeah, that's why. UW is like the worst two tile combination other than QV, I think. I'm at my own place, but I mean, as you can see from the camera, it's just like my normal setting. But the only thing that I'm controlling here is um, the file, the file of the game. So I'm following the game on a program and using a script to transfer the information from that program to a Dropbox file that spreads it out into various text sources that go into OBS and go from OBS to this streaming broadcasting software and then transfer that information to you guys. I hope that makes sense. But there's a lot going on, but I'm not doing that much other than following the game and following chat. The software is taking care of a lot of stuff. Um, I'm controlling the matrix exactly. So it's pretty amazing because I learned how to do this monitoring thing with the text files just this afternoon, thanks to, of course, the one and only Will Anderson, who instead of editing his video for tomorrow, is helping me figure this out because I never learned how to do it. Because instead of broadcasting live tournaments and live games, I was playing in the events. So I never learned how this technology worked until today. And this is a close game now. And what a nice find by Josh of Punji to the blank eye and dingbat. That's really nice. That's a really good find. And by far his best play. Maybe Dome. Yeah, Dome looks better than Main. If we're looking at the unseen letters too, there were more O's to draw than A's. So yeah, Dome looks like a slightly better play. And this gives back, yeah, very easy AJI play to Chris, which he spots instantly. So I'd say Chris has a slight advantage here because he has a lot of nice letters and Josh doesn't. He just drew another set of pretty crappy letters. But it's still a game. In the white box. No, can't do that, Daj. because at the beginning of the game, the unseen letters takes up too much space. But yeah, if you're not sure what lexicon is being used, feel free to ask, and we'll provide that information. We don't want to, because there's such a I don't know, just a fault between CSW and NWL. Why would we want to create all this extra information for newer players? Newer players don't really care what dictionary is being used. It's really the seasoned players that care, and they can just ask. We just want to show Scrabble, honestly, and not have to, yeah, focus on certain things, So yeah, what can Josh do here? Oh, mug and gripped is a good suggestion by the Atom. Just to put into perspective, how much stronger are the players? How strong are the players we're watching? Chris Sykes is. Let me find that info for you. Currently, Chris Sykes is rated 34th in North America. But in Canada, he is 14th. And Josh is getting really low on time. And Josh Greenway is unrated because he hasn't played a tournament? What? Hold on. Is that for real? What? He's unranked. He's been inactive. He's been directing tournaments and not playing them. That's so sad. He used to play so many tournaments. But he's rated around 1400, which would put him, let's see. Where would that put him? That would put him in 280th or something in North America, and I don't know, 80th in Canada or something like that. And he's also getting very low on time. So yeah, this definitely is a mismatch. This isn't a two players that are really close in strength, just duking it out. This is a test stream, testing a new setup, and yeah, Josh is holding his own despite losing a turn. He's doing quite well here. Would Josh have been better off playing Vug last turn? No, not at all. Punji was by far, and Josh didn't have a V last turn, I think. But now he's playing Vug. Yeah, I don't really know what else. Yeah, you could play Grip there, but this is very tough. Very tough for Josh. And Chris, not as tough. Chris can do a lot of things here, and he doesn't have to worry about much. But yeah, let's see. Other questions. Yeah, Chris has nice letters, and he has a lead. So, the game is close. He does have to avoid getting scored on. And Josh just drew into Paintier. Oh my god. What a draw from PIRIT. He draws into Paintier. So Chris actually does have to avoid dodge a bullet here. If Josh gets Paintier down, this is quite good for him. Huh. Who are the Scrabble board makers in English? There aren't that many. Right now, I think the cheapest boards available are from Star Boards. which is a company I think started by Tariq Pervez in Pakistan. And then there are some like artisanal makers that don't make that many. And then there's a guy that makes a lot of boards, but I don't want to give him any business. So I won't tell you who that is. Yeah, you could play Soddie, Soddie, and WE. That would be interesting to take around a 45-point lead. And after Paintier, Chris would be down. He'd be down like 20 points with 5 in the bag, so it'd be close. There's a new vendor in Thailand too. Oh, cool, Austin. Are those the ones that I was seeing at the youth championship? And welcome into the stream. Toady makes sense. But yeah, I think Josh is very likely to win this game now after that play. But if he does run out of time, he will lose 10 points for every minute he's over time. So if he's over by like 1 second, he loses 10 points. Wait, has he forgotten that he had the word paintier? I would expect that to come down like instantly. I think maybe he was expecting it to be blocked and he's forgotten that it's still available. Or maybe he's unsure of its validity. That could also be. Oh, but I hope Josh spots or plays it. Oh, what is he? Oh, this is so painful. Oh my god, Josh, paintier. You gotta do it. Your time is running out. You could, yeah, Doey Joey, you could. Come on, Josh. Oh, Man Up started a new one. He started a new one called Gamesmith. No! No! Well, it's still a game. He saw it, he just, I think, was unsure of it. He thought it was maybe too good to be true. Josh does have a 3-point lead, and there's 12 in the bag, so it's still a game. Chris still has no playable bingos, even though he has very nice letters. Oh, and Josh drew into Ironiest. Is he gonna play that one? Oh, oh. Okay, he might just see Ironist. That doesn't mean he's seen Ironiest. That means he's seen the word Ironist on his rack, which doesn't fit anywhere. But has he spotted that he could just separate the I and the S and play through the E of Allo? Who knows? Yeah, he did. He had it aligned on his rack Maris. So it's like, as far as that is, like, pretty certain that he saw Paintier. This is wow, this is going down to the wire. I feel like after Paintier it wouldn't have really gone down to the wire as much. Cause like, if Chris had this rack after Paintier, I mean, he doesn't really have many options. I guess he could have tried to like play something like log or dog to the G in Vug. But like, yeah, he would have been in big trouble after Paintier. But now it's like the suspense is killing us. Josh has under a minute left on his clock. Crazy. Hey, this is a fun game. Game 1 here. I don't know how many games we're going to be doing, but I hope you guys are enjoying this. So Dolt is 16 points, keeping EIS. And he spotted it! He spotted it! Let's go! Let's go, Josh. Oh, actually, we don't know what Chris's rack is. Wait, let's put it. Okay. So Josh has had 46 with 34 seconds on his clock. Chris does not have any playable bingos. And wow, there's some very dangerous stuff unseen. So if Chris plays like void next to the D and the O of Dolt, making ID and DO, he's going to be drawing a B. Oh, that's bad. I think Josh has got this one in the bag. Maybe not, though. He's going to have to just make an ultra instinct play here with 34 seconds on his clock. I wonder if he's tracked the tiles properly. And it's not like super easy to play the X. You could play Pax. Pax from the P and Punji. But yeah, Chris is going to draw the B. So if he plays, he's probably going to take some time here. He actually doesn't really have enough time to calculate everything. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Do I have... Hold on a sec. Yeah, so Chris, if he does play Void, he has Fears through the AR on the bottom left of the board for 32. So if you do the math, Void is 33. That puts him at 335. That's 13 points. And after Fears, that's 19 points ahead. Yeah, it should still be Josh's game, but it's like not super clear. SEAX? What? What is SEAX? So Josh is looking at Cokes. Oh, that's a great find. Yeah. Who found that as well? Beyond Mediocre Mandarin. Yeah. That's 29 points, and that gets rid of an extra letter. That would block Fears as well after Void. So is Chris going to find something really interesting here? There might be some attempts to set himself up, but not that I see. I think what Chris needs to hope for is to make a high scoring play and use all of his tiles next turn and go out. So I think in this situation, there may be a path to victory with certain draws because there's only one letter left in the bag. So if Chris had enough time, he would try and go through all the end games depending on what he draws. Oh wow! According to my engine, there's no way for Chris to win, but there's probably some way for Chris to win if it induces a mistake, and the engine can be wrong as well. But that's looking pretty bad. Chris is under 4 minutes now. This is crazy. Is voided better? Are you thinking to the D and Dolt? Unfortunately, that doesn't score any points. That only scores 12 points. And yeah, Chris is going to need a lot more than that to win this game. Just playing Void, making ID and DO is what we're looking at next to the D and the O vertically, which would make two letter words and score 33 points. But yeah, I think that's what he's going for. But I think Josh is going to win this after Void and Cokes, as long as he doesn't go overtime and like panic. But he's really set on playing Cokes. So I hope that's what he does very quickly. Yeah, as Chris draws the B, the last tile in the bag. Josh has 20 seconds. He almost played it, and he's playing it. And that has to be a winning play. It's the second best play in the position. And he made it with 12 seconds on his clock. So he should be very much on his way to winning this game, being ahead 42 points. Seax is a sword. Wow. Um, darn. Wow, what a game. I can't believe Josh won this one. I mean, both players missed bingos. Sykes had on his ruler turn, where he played ruler on the bottom left, he had a very bizarre looking unreeler, all three E's, Unreeler. And yeah, unfortunately, he missed that or was unsure if it was valid. Josh missed a ton of bingos himself and played a phony, but he's still gonna win this game. After Chris plays F, Josh is gonna go out with Gibbs, isn't he? No, he's just gonna play Seg. Okay, that's good enough. He has 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, makes us play with 2 seconds. Clutch. And Chris is gonna go out probably with BIS or SIB. Or no, he's gonna play bids, isn't he? Through the ID. And this game is gonna go to Josh. Wow. Incredible. But I think the best chance is playing Void and hoping that Josh doesn't score enough and that you draw like SEIF or something on the bottom right, making a AMUS. But this was a pretty low scoring game. Maybe not for Josh, but for Chris for sure. He didn't do that much wrong. Early on, he could have improved on the play of Quern. And he did miss Unreeler, but yeah, he definitely made fewer mistakes than Josh, but that's somehow how it goes in Scrabble sometimes. And that's what you're going to be expecting to see in these games as Chris's clock is running, even though the game is over. Yeah, well done. Well done to Josh, winning 392 to 366. Yeah, Josh is a good player. I'm just messaging him since he's behind the scenes over there. Yeah, and maybe we'll go to a break, but we'll see. So yeah, so far this looks very very good. I don't think we ever see Chris turn the board. That's unfortunate. Like that's something that Josh definitely wants to test. What happens when the board gets turned? Um, yeah, I'm just telling him how to turn off the autofocus on the rack cameras because I don't know that the board cam is going to get any better looking. I find it really cool that he's adjusted the saturation to make the tiles on the board look different than the tiles on the rack. I feel like it creates a good sense of like continuity. I don't know about you guys. Um, I don't know. Yeah, the setup is very good for spectating. Okay, great. Great. So Josh is going to be working on that. Anyways, yeah, really, just bring in all the feedback. Not necessarily with like the um, exterior stuff, but yeah, okay. He's gonna give an audio feed of them. He's gonna give you guys an audio feed of what's going on in person. Um, in Toronto. So yeah, these two players are in Toronto. I'm in Montreal, and yeah, he's just testing the focus. It's very good. Having properly visible racks like this is the key. So yeah, it's very difficult to find um, hold on, because Chris is looking at the game. Um, yeah, it's very difficult to set up cameras for Scrabble racks. That's like one thing that's extremely logistically challenging. Um, Not that you can't just set up the cameras. I mean, you can do that and you can have them look decent. It's the question of like how obstructive are they for the players, right? Like I've seen lots of tournaments where if you're playing on the stream board, the like it's literally like the rack cam is in your crotch. Like it's it's like you can't move or you're gonna like like I won't get any more detailed than that, but like it's really obstructive for the players. So yeah, it's difficult to set that up in a way that it isn't obstructive for the players, because if it's on the table rather than like behind the table, that means that you have to like go around it when normally maybe your arms would be just like on it. I think we saw tournaments where there was a lot of like forearm hair cam that was like getting in the way of people looking at people's racks. So I really think that the solution is technological. It is good to be able to see players shuffling tiles on their racks, what plays they see. And I don't really want to get rid of that. However, maybe to have some sort of way of determining what's on someone's rack without having a camera would be the long-term solution, just for the players' sakes and yeah, also for the viewers' sakes. Because it's really difficult. You have to angle it. You have to do a lot of things to just set up the camera.
Hey Josh, can you
Yeah,
hear
Josh,
us?
he's working on the focus.
Josh, can you hear us?
I think, but yeah, it's currently still not in focus. I can tell him that. Any case, yeah, what a good win for Josh. That'll send some good vibes his way. Yeah, Josh can play very well. Like I remember Josh has been doing this sort of Scrabble broadcast. Well, he's been doing Scrabble broadcasts for many, many years. The first thing he started to do was called NASPA Tonight, which is like, I don't know how often. I think it was a weekly, like, sort of podcast sort of thing, um, where he interviewed players. But there was one time where I was on it, and he basically had me helping him out in his, I think, EA Scrabble app games back when that was a thing. And um, yeah, he had some very good instincts. And I've since looked at a lot of things with him as well, and he has very good instincts for the games. Just like he doesn't study, he doesn't want to study, um, and yeah, he obviously wants to play well, but he also wants to have fun. He's really um, a social animal mostly in the Scrabble community. He's not like a grinder trying to be the best player ever. Um, Hold on. Move the. Anywho, oh, you guys can hear him. Oh, I couldn't hear him. Why couldn't I hear him? Oh, because it was muted. That's why. If it maybe I don't need to have it muted. Um, hmm, Not sure. Oh, this setup should be pretty copyable. Uh, yeah, so Josh's rack is still blurry, but Chris's rack is not. Oh, oh, that's a bit better. Uh, Anyways, we're working on these things. It's a test stream, you know. Bunch of the super volunteers like Josh are underrated. Yeah, they don't play that many events. Oh, so he was trying to communicate with me and I couldn't hear him? Oops. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. um, Anyways, okay, I told him to rotate the board. Oh, hi, Josh. Or they probably can't hear me, but they have a feed of the audio now, and I can hear it. It's funny. I'm used to like.
Just tell Chris to rotate the board, lol.
This is so meta. This is so meta.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get in here now.
Hey, Josh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You are echoed, I think, and I think they probably hear you echoed as well now.
Then let me do that.
Yeah.
Hold on. How about
It was because I had the broadcast muted because I forgot to mute the YouTube, so I muted the broadcast when I started hearing myself and never unmuted it.
Is this working better now?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So we're happy to hop into the other game. I think Chris was saying, what did you want to try? Dovefish. He wanted to know if dovefish.
No, it's not good, but
It's not good. Oh, but
That would have been very interesting. I think, Josh, would you have challenged that?
I don't know that I challenged that. It just depends on what the situation is.
Oh, the situation was you have to challenge.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to challenge, I'm going to challenge. But I think I got incredibly lucky, especially after that horrible turn of Motormen.
Yeah, so you were thinking of OR, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything else for the life of me. So
Right. So you had bingos, you probably know that. There weren't that many that were like easy. I mean, there was horsemen, which is very difficult.
oh damn, horsemen.
There was the thing that I thought you might find was mentored through the team.
Mentored, yeah.
But other than that, like you had like Dingbat was a really nice find by Chris, and yeah, Paintier was a word.
Oh,
you had that aligned.
Is a good. Okay.
But you didn't think it was good, did you?
That's right. I did not.
Okay. And Chris, I mean, obviously Chris made fewer mistakes as he would be wont to do. But
Here,
on the ruler turn,
I'm going to pass you to Chris. I'm going to pass you.
Oh yeah,
you can talk with him.
Okay, he can't.
I know both
hear.
of us can't be on here. I'm going to try to fix that for a next break. But here we go. I'm going to give you to Chris.
this one is
Right. Yeah.
So just do your best.
Yeah, Tenderman, I guess, like he had that aligned. That's true as well. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're gonna get on to game 2 very soon. But I'll talk to Chris when he gets on here.
Yeah, I'm on here.
Hey, Chris.
Hi.
Yeah, rough game, man. Like you played well. I would say that like on the Quern turn you had Took, getting rid of both U's, I guess.
Oh yeah.
That was an annoying draw though. U. And then on the ruler turn, Unreeler is a word through the E.
I didn't like Unreeler.
But it looks terrible. It's very like you have to just know that that's a word from experience, basically.
Mm.
And other than that, I think you did pretty well. You just got kind of in trouble with those like low scoring racks that didn't have any bingos in them. So
yeah, I was thinking about phoning him out with Dovefish, but there's only one in the back, so he's going to challenge it.
Yeah. At that point, like I couldn't even figure out a way for you to like steal the game. So Yeah, rough
Yeah,
one.
I'd have to
But
put down Duffish with such confidence that he wouldn't even blink.
yeah, exactly. You would have had to do that. Anyways, yeah, a great game. We wanted you to. I know you play upside down a lot. I think we wanted you to try and rotate the board just to see what it looks like. I mean, you guys could just do that right now.
But
Um,
I didn't think it
but
made any difference where the board was.
no, it doesn't. I want to see what it looks like when it's turning. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's turning. Okay, so there's a little bit of like rumble,
Yeah.
but yeah, it looks really stable and solid. I think that's just Josh wanted to like test that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, okay, good. That's all. Like, play however you want to play.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, good luck in game 2 then.
Thank you.
And yeah, you guys can start whenever.
Hey, Josh, we're
All
going to
right.
set up for the next game.
Coolio. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Well played. I mean, good game.
Thank you. All right, we'll have another game in a minute.
Yeah, no, people are really enjoying it. I think the one thing is the board cam is a little bit blurry, but I think it's fine. Like, I think it's just because of the internet. Oh, he's gone. Okay, he's gone. He's not even listening to me anymore. Great, it's just you and I. Chats. Yeah, it's really not a big deal at all. So they're gonna start game 2. Let's let's go with that. Actually, hold on. Let's save as. So we have the game file. I want to save as many games as possible from Scrabble history so that Will Anderson can make a video about them if they're interesting. All right. Let's reset the scores and get underway for game 2. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope I'm not missing too many chat messages. But yeah, of course, we're going to have a rematch. I don't know how many games we're going to play here, but stay tuned and you'll see all of them. I'm working on a similar board myself that can be broadcast in this manner. But yeah, I wonder what it's going to look like with a camera that's not connected. Hey, we love you too, Art. Art in the YouTube comments runs the biggest Scrabble event of the year, the Scrabble Players Championship, and he does an amazing job and has been doing so for I don't know how many years, like 8 years, some large amount of years. So yeah, obviously we love you too. Is the board cam is wireless? Yeah, that's the problem, because if you don't have a wireless board cam, it's so difficult to not get the wire entangled. So that's the solution we were trying to test to see if we can use a wireless camera being like connected via Wi-Fi and if that would provide enough quality. Now it might have to do with the camera itself. Like maybe the camera needs to be really good, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know what, maybe Josh isn't using his best camera, like phone camera. But I think if you have a good enough phone camera, even with the loss of information when the camera is being transferred via Wi-Fi, I think it should still eventually or ideally look a little less blurry than this, but who knows? This is why we're testing these things. Hello, Libby Brain Pills, saying Scrabble is dabble. Very nice rhyme there. I think I've heard that one before, but you know, there aren't that many words that rhyme with Scrabble. There was a word that rhymed with Scrabble that was an actual word for a couple of months. Crabapple. A misspelling of crabapple was a valid word, I think, for like a couple of months. All right, let's see what Josh is drawing. Is it 6 consonants? Okay. 2 N's. He's going to be able to make a play. He might opt to exchange, but I think what he has aligned right now, wind, is worth it over throwing back the duplicate N, the V, the W. I think he should make this play. 16 points is more than 0. So Josh is starting with wind. And Chris Sykes has DDEILNT. No, it's just because I need to input the racks after every turn. And sometimes I forget to do that, and sometimes the generated rack on the program that I have contains a blank, which would remove it from the unseen tiles. Apologies for that, Chris Pill. Fun fact, in the new House Flipper game, to avoid licensing issues, they've called Scrabble Crababble. What? Is stabble a word? Stabble. Never seen that before. Oh, wow. Josh has a bingo in French. Envoyer. 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 And he has renvoyer. Oh, he has at least 2 bingos in French with those letters. And the Y is worth 10 points in French Scrabble. Wow. But we're not playing in multiple languages. Hey, Giganto Bear. All right. So, did is being played for 5. That is a bizarre play. Wow. He's not even, like, if he was setting himself up with like DIDO or DIDY, it would make more sense. But I think he's just trying to restrict things for Josh and keep good letters. But if Josh doesn't do anything, it wasn't likely that Chris was going to draw into something, which he has. He's drawn into delating. Yeah, that's a very interesting move. I mean, he didn't have that many plays. And I guess he didn't want to get rid of his E. I probably would have played a little bit longer there. Okay, Josh is playing Envy instead of Envoy in the same spot. I wonder if that's a stylistic choice or if he's not seen Envoy. I mean, there's some benefit to doing that and keeping the O, but I would normally prefer to play the O off there. Yeah, we had a winded board. Exactly, J-Kid. So Chris is going to play something like Gelatin to the E and Envy. Yeah, no, there's definitely some defensive merit to playing Envy instead of Envoy. I wonder if he made that conscious choice or not. I can't say which play is better. So, okay, Galanite, which is an anagram of gelatin, and Legatine is played. And we see the board being turned. Okay. It's so stable, though. Wow. It's so stable. Like, we're not seeing it, like, wobble. We're just seeing, like, a little bit of... You guys know what I mean? Very interesting. I like it. Principal ore of lead. Oh. I'm not a fan of lead. I always tell people, oh, what's Chris doing? Has he looked at his 7th tile? He wants that to be a B for Basenji. And it's not. Sad. Anywho. Yeah, it is fuzzy. It is fuzzy. But, like, again, a better camera with the stabilizer, I think, would fix that. And so it really depends on the phone. No, it's not a blank. It's an upside down tile. As you can see, he flipped it now. Yeah, the blanks just look like the tiles, just with nothing on them. So they'll just be blank and the same pale color. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. Yes. No. I always tell people. I was saying I always tell people. And what do I always tell people? I don't know what I always tell people. This is horrible. Oh, yes, I always tell people. I always tell people that I am less good of a Scrabble player as I would be if I hadn't ingested so much lead in my life. And it's not like I ingest more lead than like average, but lead is bad. It really takes your brain cells away from you. And ever since I've started filtering my water, I've gotten better at Scrabble. Phones are cheap now. Depends who you ask, Mopo. They're maybe cheaper than they were. Void. Interesting. So I bet you Josh is playing that because he wants to draw like a Q play, which he doesn't have. And he wants to block that N for scoring. You could have just played QI, but that would have been pretty bad. You'd rather more fuzzy and less wobble. All right, very good. I'm glad. So yeah, okay. Chris is just going to drop James for 50 points. He could have kept his S, but he would have opened a dangerous triple anyway if he made something with a void. So I think this decision makes sense. His eye just fell off of his rack, but he still has it. No worries. And Josh has not drawn a Q play. So he might... Yeah, he's going to play Jefe, I think. That's a very good find, very quick find by Josh. But he's still going to want to draw a U, which Chris has just drawn the first U. Josh is a very defensive player around triple word scores. That also is part of it, yeah. You get a $20, 2,000. Yeah, I mean, if we want a phone to communicate a board state to you guys, I don't know if it has to be on the higher end. It has to have at least one good camera and good Wi-Fi key, Wi-Fi, whatever you call it. FA is played. Chris has a pretty ugly rack, but he did draw a U like we said, which might prevent Josh from drawing a U, or make it less likely. Oh, you're seeing courtesy draw permitted under the timer. Josh is fishing for quasars. That would be really cool. And he's drawn oh wow, he's drawn the Z. I guess this is a Canadian streamer, so I have to say Z. And I am Canadian. So, courtesy draw is, yeah, he's finally drawn to Fakir. I wonder if he was, looking for that. Nobody heard that voice crack, except me. Wonder if that's what he was hoping for on the void turn. So a courtesy draw is a draw that you are permitted to do if you are on hold. And when you're on hold, it means that someone is considering whether your play is valid or not and wants to maybe challenge it. So once you make your play, if your opponent announces hold, that means you can't mix the letters that you have left on your rack with your new letters. So any new letters you draw while you are on hold are called courtesy tiles. So after 15 seconds, you're allowed to draw, but you have to keep your tiles separate. And you also have to, if you've used all of your letters, those letters might go back into the bag eventually. So that's why you're keeping them separate. So Chris is playing Seal, or Kylie, I think is how you pronounce that word. Yeah, hold on to his U, but yeah, it was a very tough position there. And he does have a slight lead, so I think that's okay. I hope I explained that properly. Canadian safe space. Oh, so Josh very quickly playing Zoa. So he doesn't see Fakir. Okay. So Zoa is a nice second place play behind Fakir and Fakirs from the F. But definitely a whole lot worse than getting rid of the Q. The Q is way worse of a tile than the Z. Oh, I said it. I'm so sorry. Libby, please stay. The Q is a lot worse than the Z. So if you can score a similar amount with the Q and retain the Z, you definitely want to do that. And that's what Fakir did. So Josh is drawn into Queasier minus a U. But hopefully he'll be able to play his Q off next turn, like QI. He's had this Q for ever since he played Envy. So that must not be happy times. And yeah, Chris has both U's. So if he plays like, what could he play that gives Josh a spot for Queasier? Probably nothing. But Josh still has Fakir, of course. So he has another turn to spot the word. But if he doesn't, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you can't. Like, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work, Churro. I saw that, but there's not enough space. Oh, bunted. Bunted is actually a reasonable play to the D and did, the bottom one. But I think if Chris spots like Fugu, F-U-G-U, or Fugue even, through the G, he's going to definitely play that over bunted. But imagine he plays bunted. That would give Queasier back for 106. Do I know how to count? 106. Yeah, Fugu getting rid of both U's. Again, this is like a situation. There you go. He finds the play that gets rid of two U's. Last turn, he did not. Last game. So Fugu. And let's see if Josh plays QI very fast or if he considers Fakir. But I think in this case, playing QI is just better anyway. I am not secretly American. I am definitely American. I am a dual citizen. Spent first 10 years of my life as an American. So yeah, QI comes down. So Josh really managing his time better now that he doesn't draw a blank this game. But if he draws a blank now, imagine how long he's going to have to think about his next play. Come on. One time, draw the blank. 2 tile draw. Let's go, Josh. What is a Fakir? Oh, nice draw of reaches, which Josh spots instantly. There's nowhere to play it, though. Oh, there is one. Yeah, he can play it with Riff. Okay, wow. So what is a Fakir? Good question. It is a Hindu ascetic. What is an ascetic? One who practices asceticism, which is severe abstinence or austerity, especially for religious or spiritual reasons. Okay. So, we see a very quick exchange down to ER. Let me catch up here. ENRTT. Why did he do that? That's weird. Why would he not keep like an NT there? But he draws a blank. Okay. BEHRPT. All right. Update this. Josh has 240. Chris has 154. And okay, Chris is going to very quickly play Birth, but he has a bingo. Chris, why are you playing so fast? No. Josh is going to bingo back with Dido, I think. Wow. Pot herb, correct, Slug Biker. Wow. Pot herb for 105 in the same spot, which would have set up a really dangerous spot for an S, but it would have been beautiful. Earth is not that much worse, but significantly worse. So Chris is only down 30, but he's going to be very unhappy with this play of Roaring for 66 by Josh, taking an 100-point lead. And now Chris has both blanks, which might seem good, but isn't necessarily that good because he's down 100. He might prefer to draw the blanks separately with this deficit. Oh my god, what a find of Luckbox Epopea from the E in Jefe. So you would make the first blank the first P and then put the second one on the double letter score. Wow. That would be a phenomenal find. Wow. So, yeah, tons of bingos available for Chris, but I wonder if he's going to take the time to try and find something very nice. Question was, what is a pot herb? Isn't it just an herb you put in a pot? Like in like a little small pot you put a plant in? That's what I would think a pot herb is. Oh, it's just any herb that you use as seasoning. Okay. Oh, so he's playing Sinopia, which is interesting because is he missing that Birth takes an A? You could play Adipose for one more point there. I mean, that's not a big deal. Yeah, this is a good play. Oh, he's playing Soapier. Why would he do that? Now he's putting the blank on a double letter score. Yeah, he's going back to... Technically, he's not allowed to do this. Technically, if he wants to change his mind, he should bring his tiles back on his rack. But that's just a very... This is a casual game, you know. It is casual. So he plays Sinopia, which is great, but man, Epopea would have been insane. So yeah, Sinopia is the play. The blanks are an S and an N. And Josh is up 20. So Chris still has good chances to come back here. Now I wonder if Roarings is going to come up, because Roarings is a word. You can put an S on Roaring, like the roarings of the winds of time or whatever. And there are two S's remaining. So we'll see if that comes up. I would assume that if it does come up, the likelihood is that it will be Chris bingoing with roarings to like win the game and steal the game from Josh, and Josh will challenge, thinking that Chris is just trying to get one by him. That's my prediction. But floatage was drawn, so maybe not. Maybe that's not going to happen at all. If Chris spots floatage, that is a huge ticket back into this. But Josh is considering a play that I think might block that. AW up top. Now he's looking at Natter on the bottom, which Or I don't know where he's looking at Natter, but that doesn't seem great. Juan. Wow, it's a nice find from the H in birth. HWAN. All right, how did you see that? That's so good. That's 30 points. Harry Potter. Yeah, exactly. You thought it meant marijuana? Potter? Yeah, that makes sense. Mary Jane is a word, and marijuana is a word with an H. Y'all are so good at this game? Yeah. We eventually we'll have people watching Scrabble that aren't like the best players. And people that are new to the game will feel a little bit less intimidated by the skillful few. That's funny. People with too much skill are not welcome. Okay, bye. That's it for me. Yeah, this is an interesting turn for Josh. He has a lot of options. Ruby is here to make everyone feel better about themselves. 1400s represent. 1400 is very good at Scrabble. Josh Greenway is very good at Scrabble. Chris Sykes is exceptionally good at Scrabble. You guys watching this are very good at being cool. At the very least. I hope that helps. But yeah. I am an anti-elitist elite player. So I don't know how that really works. I probably don't do a very good job at protecting new players from elitists, but I believe in you all. You're not sure you'd break 1,000? I mean, it depends how much work you put into it. Just playing the TO is interesting, yeah. Or sorry, the TW. Keeping ANERT, which is a really good combination. Two-letter words cheating. What do you mean by two-letter words cheating? Sykes is rated 1900, and the best players are rated like 21, 2200. So Sykes is very good. He's also been rated close to 2000 before, so I think his rating's on somewhat of a downswing lately. Or just maybe one tournament's worth of downswing. So yeah, Josh is, I don't know where... Oh, yeah, he was considering playing Where underneath Sinopia. W-A-R-E. So he's okay. Ooh, this is a bet. Okay. I mean, I understand this decision, but this is... If Chris spots floatage, Josh can be somewhat worse of a shape if he plays this. Although, as it would turn out, floatage would give him a spot for his W. It's very nice. But yeah, Josh is definitely struggling with this decision. It is a tough one. Not as inflated as his chest. You have a photo album 5 strong of your favorite plays? Nice, Libby. That's amazing. What do you not agree with, Slug Biker? Oh, Natter? Yeah. Okay, so Josh is playing AW for 21. He had that for 25, which would have blocked floatage. And Chris has gotten all of the time in the world to find his bingo. So let's see if he's used that time wisely. Indeed he has. So floatage is going to come down, and Josh, depending on what he draws, might challenge this. If he draws into a bingo, Oh, he draws the I, so he's definitely not going to challenge this, I think. He's going to see that's, wow, he's drawn this X. Did I say I? I meant X. He's going to see that this gives him a huge spot for the X, and he's, even if he doesn't think this is a word, he's going to let it go. So Chris is now ahead by 37, but very temporarily, because Tix is going to score 62 points and keep very nice tiles. So yeah, damn. Sykes can't get a break in these games unless he draws a bingo here, which now he's drawn this B doesn't seem like very likely. He doesn't have a bingo. Finding the words is a big hurdle when you don't know the words. That's true. People new to Scrabble sometimes cheat, it seems. Doesn't really bother me as long as they eventually change their ways. Okay. Yeah, cheating in Scrabble doesn't mean you will win every game if you do it properly. Well, there's no way to do it properly. I shouldn't say do it properly. There's no way to cheat properly. Cheating is not proper. But yeah. Top players pretty much know the words and can find them and are concerned with leaves and outs and positioning. Not really, J-Kid. I mean, I guess pretty much. But we miss things too. Pretty often, actually. Cheating is bad. Please don't do it. Pretty succinct. So Chris is down 25, so it's not the end of the world. There are 9 tiles left in the bag. 7 on Josh's rack. And what would you do here? The engine is suggesting playing BAP to the P in Sinopia, making AWA. Which honestly does not look very good here. I'd try to score a little bit more, but I'm not really sure how to do that. You could play ISBA, ISBA, putting an S on the word at the bottom of the board, Sinopia, which has those 2 blanks in it, making Sinopias. That would score almost 30. And you could play something with roarings and like play SABIR, which is a very obscure word in and of itself, and hope to draw the final S, or hope that Josh is just never going to put an S on Sabir because he doesn't know the word, or is going to challenge roarings and or Sabir. So the play of Sabir and roarings would maybe be the most exploitative play that you could make in the position. Just either you're getting away with this word and your lower rated, weaker word knowledge wise opponent is never going to try and pluralize Sabir, or he's going to challenge thinking you're trying to pull one by him. It's a very bizarre word, Sabir. I don't think I've ever seen the word Sabir played in Scrabble. Okay, this makes sense, BAP. It's pretty restrictive, this BAP. And it sets up, I guess, a lane underneath for AAS. I've just lost my voice. Hold on a sec. Okay. BAP comes down. And Josh actually has some very bizarre, hard to work with tiles. But I think he still has the advantage. It's just hard to find a play here. I mean, I think all of the plays that Chris had in this position were pretty bad. So I'm not opposed to making this one, which makes life a little bit more difficult for Josh. I think it complicates the position a decent amount. Josh has 10 minutes to work through this stuff, I guess. There's now 6 in the bag, so if he really was working on trying to create a good situation for himself in the end game, he would probably want to play like 4 tiles here. But there really isn't a great way to do that. You can maybe play like Iller from the Eye and Roaring. Playing 4 tiles would leave 2 tiles in the bag, take a 20-point lead, and basically ensure that Josh is going to have the opportunity to go out, use all of his letters before his opponent, Chris. And this is a very like higher level strategy. You have to play a lot of Scrabble to sort of comprehend. But if you're leaving like 2, maybe 3 tiles in the bag, sometimes even 1, it means your opponent's probably going to have to make a play that empties the bag and leaves them with a lot of letters on their rack, which makes it less likely that they will be able to use all of those letters in their final turn. And that means that you, who have 7 letters to your opponent's 5, but you have the turn, should be able to make 2 plays and beat your opponent to the bullet and go out before them. And that's worth a lot of points. If you get an extra turn in Scrabble, that's a huge advantage. So that's what we call tempo, endgame tempo. And I'm really not great at explaining it. So if someone doesn't understand, please let me know. Timorous. Oh, yeah. I never forgot about that word. So you can play Rent. Oh my gosh. That's a great play. Rent between the C and the U of reaches, making CRU, which is a word, HEBEN and EST. That is an incredible find by Churro in the Twitch chat. Wow. That's definitely the play here. Like, that's beautiful. It's 26 points. Does exactly what you want, leaves 2 in the bag. It does leave you with both L's, but that's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, if Josh sees this play, he's going to play it. I mean, if anyone sees this play, they're going to play it. It just looks so beautiful and it scores so well and does everything you want to do, pretty much. So that's like by far the best play in the position. But other than that, it's kind of hard. Like, what do you do? Where does TEL go? What is Josh looking at TEL? I don't really know where that's supposed to go. Tents and ran in 2. That could also work, but that does get rid of your S. I don't think Josh is going to do that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Giganto Bear. Tents in that position from the T in births. Yeah, this is really tough. Josh might just end up playing like his 2 L's off for 6 from the I and Roaring, just playing ill. I don't really know. And he is burning most of his time, and this might be a tight end game, so he's going to want to make a play soon. Or Chris is going to be able to use time to his advantage and maybe force an error in the end game. A game-losing error. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, this looks a lot better than last round. The rack on the left is still slightly not in focus, but I saw him like turn the focus bar all the way, so it might just be the lighting or something. It still looks much better. And yeah, the board looks good too. I hope I look okay. I don't know what that was, but that was me trying to be presentable. Anywho, on Chris's end, I mean, he really just has to wait and see what Josh does. Like, he might have spotted a few plays, but it's highly dependent on. This is a position where you really just have to wait to see what your opponent does. Unless there's like some high-scoring long play. Like, he almost has something like rigor through the G and roaring, making Rex. Like, sure, in this position you want to be looking for plays, but you don't want to be like using up all your energy looking for plays. You want to do your basic diligence. Okay, Belt, a similar idea to Ill, keeping a worse leave and scoring 1 extra point. But I'm glad Josh made his play. He's has 4 minutes left to deal with the endgame now. He's up 16. Now this is a very tough position for Chris. He doesn't want to make a long play anymore. He wants to leave tiles in the bag. Josh has drawn into runlets, which does not fit anywhere. But he spots it. What a waste of energy to look for your bingo in this position. Obviously kidding. But yeah, this is a tough position for Chris. He has that M he can maybe score with, but there's really nowhere to score with it right now. The top play recommended by the engine is kind of absurd. And yeah, definitely you don't want to play it. With what Chris sees, like, there's another M unseen. But the top play based on points and what letters you're leaving behind is SOU and roarings, which would set up the M for UM, but is absolutely not correct. Because it would maybe set up Josh's M, which Chris doesn't know, Josh doesn't have. So what do you even do here? Yeah, I'm confused as to why Josh kept an L there. I agree. Maybe he spotted that there was another T to draw, and he didn't want to duplicate his T's. But yeah, it's just very hard to generate plays in the position Josh was in. It's also hard to generate plays in this position. Like, it's such a weird dead board, and like, it's very tactical. Like, if you have something, it's going to be a very tactical thing. Like, but it's really, yeah, I don't really know what to do here at all. Onium. Yeah, I think you want to play like 2 or 3 tiles here. And how do you get rid of your U if you want to do that? There's another U to draw. This is really difficult. I don't know more than one person who would like make the right play in this position. Josh has losers, or yeah, through the G. That is a high-scoring play. That might be relevant. Okay, so Chris just plays MO, which is a sensible decision because it scores something, and it leaves 2 in the bag. And he's only down 3 now, so I think it's going to be really close. That's some good games so far, wow. So from Josh's perspective, he's looking at IKMOORSUY. So those are sort of scary until you realize there's like nowhere to use those letters on this board, really. But Josh has no time, so he's going to have to make some play that he's not going to be super thrilled with, I think. So if you play like losers now, you're going to want to draw a vowel for sure. Oh no, don't do it. Josh should know that Lunters isn't a word. If he thinks Lunters is a word, he would play that with AAL and would lose the game. Lustern. Yeah, I don't know. If you don't spot losers here, which is a tough find, again, like, do you play off 1 tile? He could just play Lex for 10. That would still leave a letter back in the bag. We could have a cat and mouse situation where no player wants to empty the bag. But Josh is under 3 minutes now. I think Chris has the advantage here, just based on time alone. So, yeah, he's going to have to make a decision, even if he's not thrilled with it. I think, I think Chris is maybe going to eke this one out. We'll see. No. So I said this last round, and it is worth repeating as many times as it comes up because it is a weird thing. In Scrabble, if you run out of time, you don't lose. If you run out of time, you lose 10 points for every minute that you're over time until you're over by 10 minutes. And if you're over by 10 minutes, then you flag, then you lose. So every minute that Josh goes over, he's going to lose 10 points. And in this position, 10 points is a lot. So he really doesn't want to do that. Sometimes it's worth doing just to make sure you're not blowing the game completely. But in this position, time is of the essence based on how close the score is. I think Josh is going to make a bad play. We'll see. No, that is a good play. Lug. Okay, now we're in an endgame. And Josh is going to have EMNRSTY, which is actually pretty good. And Chris has 7 minutes to figure this out. He should have the advantage in terms of using all of his tiles before Josh. But yeah, this is really tough. I don't know. If I had 7 minutes, I would not solve this endgame. And I will run it through the engine to see. I'm sure there's like at least one play that wins. Nope. No winning plays. But he could still steal it. Could still steal the game. Scrabble is much more spectator friendly than chess. That would be amazing if true. I don't know that that's true, but I hope to get there one day. So yeah, the problem here is that Chris's tiles are just so difficult to work with. Josh has really nice, he spotted a nice play on the top right of MY, making OM and AY. And that's a gorgeous play. And Chris can't do anything. Like he'd want to play SUK. Oh no. He'd want to make like a play under Sinopia, but he doesn't really have one. Because if he makes walk, that gives Josh woke. So yeah, I think we're in a similar situation to the last game where just Chris is dead in the water. And he might be able to find some way to steal this, with Josh being so low on time. But I think it has to do with like making multiple plays in the end game. Like just starting off slow with like maybe blocking MY with KI on the top right, making OK and AI, tying the game up. Well, Chris would be down 2 at that point, and then just hoping that Josh makes a mistake. This is really bad. Oh, MY also plays under Sinopia. Josh might have spotted that. That's 26. Oh boy. So yeah, I think if Josh spots both of those, like, that's it. That's game over. He also has really nice underlaps of like TYNES, making ETANY, WONPE, and OBIS. So that's why Chris can't win this. Josh just has too much firepower. And Chris has no good plays. Nets plays there too, yeah. I mean, it's funny because if it was Josh's move, I mean, he'd probably just play MY, but like some of the plays he'd want to make would give Chris a huge K play. If you ever play something with WON on the bottom, wonk would come down. See, I think Chris is dead again. I think Josh is going to go 2-0. Wow. Wow. I don't really know what to do here. I think, yeah, I don't really know. I think Chris is considering playing SOUK after playing Noir or Nori. It's funny, the engine gives SOUK as the best play, making roarings, but that just gives Josh a humongous S-hook. Chess is easier to learn, absolutely. Yeah, there's a higher barrier to entry in Scrabble, and we're working on that. There's a common English lexicon that would be very good for beginner players that doesn't contain all these crazy words no one's ever used. So, okay. So Chris is going with Nori. And so I guess this is a gut check moment for Josh. I think if he just plays MY, if he just plays MY, he wins easily, actually. So maybe it's not a gut check moment. He just wants to, like, the TYNES play is 47 points. So if he spots that, that's just immediate game over. But yeah, just MY, either MY plays is going to win the game for Josh. Pretty much any reasonable play here wins. Yeah. But yeah, the star play definitely putting the T at the bottom left under the E of blank E blank OPIA, and then playing TYNES. Oh no. No! All right. The game has come down to roarings. Like I said, I told you guys that it would come down to roarings. Did I not say that? Did I not say that? Yeah, Josh just doesn't know that roarings is a word, so he's blocking the better spot for SOUK. All right, Chris wins by 10. Oh my goodness gracious. Poor Josh. Poor Josh. What a good swindle, though, by Chris. Yeah, he was trying to induce some play, some over-ambitious play by Josh. Which is exactly what happened. Josh was like, oh, Nori, okay, he's trying to set up SOUK and Nori's. I can just block that easily. Oh, man. But, yeah. But he also had it with Souk. Oh, he also had it with Baps. Wait. Chris also had that with Baps, so Josh must have missed that too. Josh must have missed Baps and SOUK. He probably saw AAS and SOUK and Nori's and so the horizontal versions, but not the vertical versions. I'm not smiling because it's funny, but it was very exciting. I feel bad for Josh. He must have been sure. Yeah, he did risk it, but he must have been sure. Yeah, he just needs to score something.
Hey,
just needs
we're
to
here.
Score a little bit more.
So MY,
hey.
Does MY outrun everything there at the end?
Oh yeah.
God.
You know, I predicted this when you played Roaring. I was like, you know, there's a high likelihood that Roarings is going to come into play here, but actually, he doesn't even need Roarings to win. Did you miss that he could play SOUK with Baps?
Oh, yes, I missed there. So I was trying to block obviously I was down on time, but but does that no, that doesn't win either. If I just play NY in one of my high scoring spots,
You just need to score some points and you're fine. Yeah.
yeah.
But you were over ambitious and
Net
panicked.
12.
Time pressure.
Yeah.
You did net 12 to win, I believe.
I needed net 12 to win, is what Chris says.
So
Well,
Chris,
that's rough. Go ahead, ask Chris a question. You may have to yell a little bit to answer because
so Chris, so just
Yeah.
tell me, did you see Baps as well, or
I saw-
only Roarings?
I saw Sook with AA and Roarings with Sook were both 21.
Okay, so did both of you just miss that could be played with Bap? Because that is a kind of weird tucked in spot on the board.
I definitely missed it. I was looking at. I didn't know if Nora
Because
finesse.
if you were not 100% sure of Roarings, you could have just played with Baps, and that also wins. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I knew Roarings though. So
But you knew Roarings, which I expected you to know.
Yeah.
Wow. Great game, guys. But this just goes to show like the swindling power of higher rated players, you know? Like Josh, you had this game and you were like, yeah, you're making some good moves, drawing some good responses, and Lug was a great move. I like that move.
Well, it was. I was trying to obviously hold that L because I was hoping to play off the AA. I was hoping to draw into a.
That's why. Okay, people were wondering why you didn't play off two L's. Of course, yeah, you wanted the L for AAL.
Yeah, so for
I
Bell
should have figured that out.
or whatever. Yeah. How is more importantly, how is the board?
Racks are better.
How is the board and the stability?
Everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. So when the board is turned, it's a little bit. It's like rumbly a little bit, but it's stable. Like it's not wobbly. It's just like the letters get very like shaky, pixely.
Okay.
But I think with a better camera and stabilizer on a phone, that would fix that.
Well, it is a phone, but I don't know what you mean by stabilizer. But anyway,
like how good is the camera on the phone?
It's an iPhone
that's being
7.
used.
It's an iPhone
right.
7, so there's room to improve.
Yeah, I think with a like higher quality camera / stabilizer, that would do a world of difference.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, my camera I think is probably worse than that one. So, yeah, we'll see. And otherwise, I mean, it's still great. Like I think people are enjoying it. People can see things clearly.
Yeah, that's good. And there are no wires anywhere to the board, so that's
exactly that's the big thing. No wires getting in the way of everything, which is so annoying.
Yeah. So okay, we are going to set up for another game, but we may take 1 minute just to grab a snack. Josh, why don't I?
Sure.
Should I put you full screen for a minute, and then we'll come back? Or are you okay in this view?
Full screen? I mean, what would I show in full screen?
Do you want to take a break too? And I'll just say I'll put up coming back soon. We have a nice. I want to thank everybody for being here. By the way, I don't know how
many games are you guys gonna play?
I don't know. It depends on how many you want to commentate and scorekeep for. We can keep going. We can do at least a rubber match.
Okay. Yeah. How about that? I mean. Yeah, if you guys want to do 4, that's okay, but I guess like that might end up 2-2, which depends on your level of.
Yeah, always leave them wanting more. So okay, why don't we? Yeah. I think we're good for 2 more for sure. Do you want to take a 1 minute break, like a 1 2-minute break? Okay, I'm going to put up the coming back soon graphic, and hopefully everybody. Sticks around, and thanks everyone for being here. We'll be back with some more Scrabble really soon. And thank you, Josh, for doing all the work.
No worries, man.
See you soon.
Hey, serious question. When has 1 minute ever been 1 minute? That's the question I have for you guys. When has a 1 minute break ever been a 1 minute break? I'm sorry. You know, what can you do? We're back. Greenway versus Sykes. It's 1-1. And Josh is ahead in spread. So if they're playing 2 more games, oh, they're drawing again. So what does that mean? Maybe they're only playing 1 more game. And they're shaking hands. I mean, come on, guys. Handshakes for Scrabble games? I mean, we need to normalize that, right? Post-COVID. Like, shake each other's hands. Do it. It's not icky. It's very respectful. It legitimizes the game. All right, Chris is first. Has drawn the Q as his first tile. Love to see it. Well, hate to see it, actually. A-A-E-N. A-A-E-I-N. I-Q. And QI. For the second time in 3 games. Have I said this before? QI is the most boring opening move. It's also the most popular opening move. Yeah. Just, happens. I like novelty. And Josh has records. So that should be good. Is he going to play quarters? I mean, that's also a word. I'm sure most of you are way... Oh no, Josh. Find records. No. I mean, we're sitting here. It's a lot easier to find the plays. Quarters. Records. There you go. Okay, there you go. It could be 2 things. Records, records. Yeah, sometimes those common words can escape you. But he found it. He did his diligence. And that's one for the records, right? That's how you say that, right? And does Chris have a response through the C? No. Oh, what a great start for Josh. Chris does not have a bingo back. And this is what happens when you open with QI. If someone bingos immediately, like, where is half of the board? Where is that bottom left half of the board? Gone. Like, it's gone. How are you going to get there? It's going to take like 20 turns to get down there. You have to make a lot of annoying sacrifices to access that part of the board that's like very cut off. Yeah, pre-chords is not a word, but yeah, that would be something to think about for sure. So what's Chris going to do here? Is he going to just, I don't know, like, I feel like the right thing to do now is to play aid underneath the Q and the I, making QI and ID. Yeah, it's 20 points. It sets up a lot of danger, but leaves the board open. And I think when you have a deficit like this in the beginning of a game, I mean, you don't have to panic, but yeah, something like this is often required to make the best play. Josh has drawn BMMTT, and an I and an O. So that's going to be a little bit awkward, I think, for a couple of moves to deal with most of the time. So he's probably looking at playing bottom, okay, through the O. He could also play mom on the triple, making OR and ME, but it's not his turn yet, but he's still looking for plays. It's a good habit to get into, even though your opponent hasn't moved, and their move might very much change your options. Still good to look for plays on your opponent's time, just in case their play doesn't change the situation. And even plays that you find on your opponent's time, or words that you find on your rack, can be useful, like in case your opponent opens a letter for them. So often, I guess, expert players will look at what possible letters they could be given to maybe play an 8-letter word or a long word to get rid of a lot of tiles that they don't want. Yeah, we're seeing aid come down. It's not a play you like to make, but I think it's a play you should make in this position for 20 points. You could also play AIN, which actually has a better valuation. ADEL is a better leave than AELN, and a leave is the tiles you leave behind. So that D combines much better with that L than the N does. So it's actually probably slightly better to have sacrificed 2 points there. Although Alienee is drawn, you might think, oh my god, he drew 3 vowels. He's dead. But Alienee comes to the rescue. Josh might very well block this spot for that, though. But yeah, AIN, that's a top-level play instead of AID. There's not much of a difference between the two plays other than the 2 points and the score. Sorry, that's the same thing. The 2 points and the letters you leave behind. And apparently, if you left yourself with the D instead of the N, it works out better most of the time. Although in this case, specifically, that would have been bad. Chris would have had nothing to do. But that's just one of the potential millions and billions of possible iterations. Actually, I wonder how many 3-letter combinations Chris could have drawn there. It's probably, if I had to guess, it's like, how many 3-letter combinations? Like 50,000? I don't know. Someone could probably calculate that. So Josh doesn't do anything about the opening that Aid made and plays bottom, arguably opening the board even more. But yeah, Chris is going to play Alienee immediately. Yeah, unique combinations. That's what I'd be looking for here. He leaves the 3 E's on this rack. That's funny. Those are the last 3 letters he puts down. And Josh draws into Muggies. A good estimate? I don't even remember what I said. Yeah, Alienee comes up a lot. What did I even say? Did I say like 50,000? I feel like that's a lot, though. That might be too much. Yeah, smug ear is not a word. Josh has a very nice play of mug, M-U-G-G, making M-O and U-M. But Josh is thinking of playing smug ear, and I mean, after the game he blew, he might be a little bit more likely to try stuff like this. But we'll see if he talks himself out of it. 2,925. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than what I said. Shows how much I know. Can someone verify, though? Can someone verify that that is correct? 2,925. Thank you for doing the math, Bobby, in the YouTube chat. All right, Josh really wants to play. Well, he can't play Muggies anywhere, so that's not going to happen. But I think he might be thinking of Muggier. Play Muggier to the R, to one of the R's and records, probably the bottom one. But yeah, Mug, M-U-G-G looks like the play for sure. On top of the O-M. You just have to know that that's a word. Does Josh know that that's a word? I don't know. He might be setting up the second G there, and he might just be unsure. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because Chris here has no way of using those triples. He could try and block with something like YA, Yum, and AG, but I don't think that's worth doing. I think you just play Looney and YA here. Oh, Louis. Louis through the E and bottom E and alien E is good. L-O-O-E-Y. There's also Aliyah to the A and alien E. A-L-I-Y-A. Hitting the triple, scoring 36. And yeah, Josh is... I wonder. So Josh has spotted 2 possible 8-letter words with the letters he has. Agouties and gaudiest. But does he see augites? Does he know augites? Augites is a very common 7-letter word. And if he sees augites, is he going to spot it with Mug, M-U-G-G? So we see Aliyah come down, which this makes sense. Opening the board further, scoring points, not giving super easy plays, but maybe, okay, Chris is reconsidering. Oh, he's thinking of playing non-oily. Very interesting. Only 22 points, but it gets rid of both of the O's, and it might get a challenge off of Josh. Josh is holding. I'm pretty sure Josh is holding this play because it looks very bizarre. But we'll see if Chris draws immediately or not. And this is a gut check. Is Josh going to see a 7-letter word? Is he going to challenge? Okay, Chris is drawn. So I'm going to assume that's going to, I don't know. We'll see if, Josh could still challenge. And this is a really good draw for Chris. He's going to have multiple spots to play bingos next turn. So, yeah, he now even has sauteing. I think Josh is maybe thinking that agoutis is good without the O, which it isn't. Yeah, these are the tough racks. If you don't study your high probability words, they're really hard to find, these words. Like, he's definitely, I'm almost certain he's seen augites before. And he sees it on his rack. But it took a while to get there because he doesn't study his high probability words. So you guys want to see those words quicker than Josh. Okay, that's my lesson. Because these come up so often. You don't want to be searching for them. When words have very workable letters in them, like low-scoring letters that you see in any part of a word, it's so much harder to then spot the combinations, prefixes, suffixes. So that's why the high probability words, even if you know all of them, you're going to miss them unless you really nail the studying of them. Because I'm not going to be manually finding every word on my rack if I have 10 words on my rack. That's insane. You want to just remember them so that you don't have to do that head work. So Josh has seen augites, but I wonder what he's thinking. Eugasti from an E? I don't know what he would be. He's seen augites. Is he not sure? He could very well be not sure. I'd be surprised, though, because that word really does come up a lot. But I think he must just not be sure of Augites. Yeah, you don't want to be shuffling like you want to know what your words are without having to shuffle. I disagree, Sayadam. I mean, I guess it depends how you retain words, but like seeing all 7 words in a rack, like without having studied it multiple times, it's not really feasible, I think. Is there a list of or online training tool for the high probability words? Yeah, absolutely. Let me put that in the YouTube chat. Yeah, it's free. Sign up to aerolith.org. And yeah, if you go to word walls and you go to word lists or whatever, high probability words are there. Like basically people usually study in like 1000s. So the 1000 most probable words, then the next 1000. And so, yeah, that's how you can study them on Aerolith. Yeah, but even if he doesn't know Mug, he's going to see Augites with YA. So I really think he's just unsure of Augites. And I think he's also unsure of Mug. And looks like he's going to make a very sad play of like maybe Ague. AGUE. This board is so wide open. So it's likely even if he doesn't bingo this turn, he's going to get something next turn. Haraz, welcome. That is by design, I think. I mean, obviously, it's the producer, Josh, his decision to make the tiles on the board pop out more. So he's probably using some sort of like editing trick, like what did I say earlier? Saturation. Josh plays TUI for 3. Oh boy. That's definitely not a play he was happy with making. But hopefully it works out for him. He's keeping the G, which is really not going to help his chances of getting a bingo next turn. But Chris is going to bingo here probably with Distaff, which was mentioned in the Twitch chat. DISTAFF. Yeah, did Josh miss? I wonder if Josh missed a bingo here. I don't see anything. Yeah, Distaff. Great find by Chris. Yeah, it is a lot. I hated it when I did it. So I totally get the aversion to learning the high probabilities, but if you want to be a top performing player, you really need to drill those. But I got to like 1700 rated without doing it, so it's not necessary like to begin with. But I definitely wish I would have done it more because I'm still not very adept with the high probability words. Okay, so Distaff with the first F as blank is being played with Mugs. Okay, Josh, this. And okay, he does have a bingo of Absturge. But that's a really tough find. I don't know. He might surprise me. I don't think he's going to find this. So Chris now has a 100-point lead. And it was completely self-inflicted by Josh. On the one hand, yeah, I don't think he was ever sure of MUGG. On the other hand, Augites. He saw it. He just wasn't sure. And you can't play a word you're unsure of against someone like Chris. He will knock it off the board like 90% of the time if it's not a word. And he'll leave it on the board 95% of the time that it is a word. Those numbers are probably lower than they should be. But yeah, absterge is just so difficult to find. Starting with an A, making A-B-S-T. It's just not a very normal English formulation. I mean, there are obviously words like that, abstract, but like, yeah, very difficult. So this is a very tough find. So I think Josh's clock was stopped. I don't know if he challenged his staff. That was another thing that I was wondering if that would happen. But it looks like his clock is running, so it looks like he didn't challenge it. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, Chris is probably on hold here. It's a very weird looking word. I think you can pluralize it to distaves. Yeah. Distaves. Can you pluralize it normally too? Yeah. Because it's a type of staff. So maybe I should pronounce that distaff. Distaff. Yeah, very bizarre. All right, Josh, I want you to play your G off. That's all I want from you. Please make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is no G on Josh's rack. Distaff. It's just weird because if I'm... Oh, he does challenge. No, he's going to have the G on his rack. Sad. All right, yeah, this game is over, I think. Chris having a 100-point lead and having a turn. How things have changed in one turn. One turn, Josh chickened out of a bingo, made a 3-point play, and then challenged his opponent's 100-point bingo. And I don't think he's going to find absterge either. Although Chris is drawing very poorly. So, okay, the E saves the rack a little bit. So Chris is probably going to make a play here. Very bad draw. Yeah, very, very bad draw. So what can Chris do here? I guess he could play like Wyvern to the N. That's really dumb. Maybe just Wyvern through the E and Alien E. Oh no, review, easy. Yeah, review. So he's gonna open a triple. Luckily, I mean, this is a scary play to make because if Chris remembers, Josh has just played for 3 points. So opening a triple is take some cojones. Is like now, if Josh triples, it's a tie game, and Chris is holding UR. But yeah, luckily for Chris, I mean, the idea of getting challenged, sometimes when your opponent challenges a word, it can signify that they probably don't have the best letters to respond to your play, which is why they've elected to challenge. But I think any play that puts someone ahead by 100, you can't really make that assumption. But yeah, it's not a given that even with a really good rack, Josh would triple through an R. And he plays Garb, which is a great play. Obviously, we would have wanted him to play Absterge, which still played to the E in records. But again, that's a lot to ask for of a non-professional player, a guy who does far more for the game than in the game. And I think we're all the better for it. Chris is going to bomb the X for 54 with fix, which makes perfect sense, and increases lead to 169. Nice. In any case, Josh has not drawn a vowel, so he's going to be stuck. Maybe he wants to resign this game and play a fourth game. He might be thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know what you even do here. Maybe you play like Sept for 31 and Alienese. So Josh is keeping his G again, and he plays Trump. I wonder why he played that over Tump. I guess they're similar. Maybe keeping the R. I think that was a human decision. Like when you have only one vowel, you really don't want to keep 4 consonants with it because you're afraid of drawing 2 more consonants. Josh draws a blank, which again is good, but I think for him to have come back in this game, he needed a lot of help, which involves maybe drawing the blank later. Yeah, I think this is going to be more of an impediment to his chances of coming back, which were close to 0 in any case. But he seems attached to the... I mean, he's going to bingo with it, right? Unless he misses all of his bingos with this rack, which is definitely possible. Out. Okay, that's... I mean, Chris can play whatever he wants here. That's a sort of a surprising move. I guess he didn't have much else. Yeah, I think this is fine. Take the triple away. I guess this makes sense. But again, like we see Chris holding on to his U's, and yeah, U's are bad. Just so you guys know, Chris is not setting a great example to what to do when you have a U. Am I like a little bit tilted? Hold on. Whatever. I think I'm slightly tilted. My OCD is bothered. I tried. So Josh, how many bingos does he have playable here? Wow. He only has 7 playable bingos. Okay, never mind. Like, I don't think he's going to bingo here. Exogens, there are only 3 words. The 7 bingos contain only 3 words. So, yeah, soigner would be maybe the likeliest thing, going down from next to the I and 2E. Josh is, yeah, not seen that. Then there's exogens, which was mentioned, and mongoose, plural of mongoose, which plays to the E in records. Yeah, this is very sad position. Very sad. I don't know what Josh is gonna do here, but whatever it is isn't gonna help him that much. Whereas Chris has drawn the J, which means he should be able to score something next turn. I already see he could play juried. Jury is a verb in the English language. Maybe it means to like convoke a jury. And that would play making DA. Yeah, genomes, you might see that on your rack and then be very upset when you realize there's no spot for it. Unless you're playing in Collins. Oh, does this mean that Josh has seen mongoose, or is he thinking of kanjis or ponjis, which are also words? Because he had mongoose aligned on his rack. Oh man, it's so fun to try and like get into someone's brain. Like, what is going through Josh's brain when he arranges his letters? Oh, and he has a Collins bingo aligned and Gores. Is he gonna play that? That will come off the board instantly. Yeah. We're just gonna have to wait and see. This is a very, very annoying position for Josh. I mean, Chris has doubled his score. He has a blank, and like even if he scores 70 with it, Chris is already still ahead by over 100. So, yeah. I mean, the first two games, the problem was the first two games were just gifts. They were so nice. Like, they were so close and competitive. Now we're showing the ugly end of mismatches in Scrabble. This will happen like 50% of the time when there's like a 500 point, 600 point rating difference. Someone will just be like dead in the water after like less than half the game has been played. And yeah, Josh is already up down to 6 minutes 30 seconds, and yeah, he plays Go. Finally gets rid of his G. And yeah, he knows that he probably had something there, but just gave up. He couldn't see it. So, wow. Wow, is Chris crazy? He is crazy. He was laying down a jur and UT, which would have put the word jur right next to the double word score. That would have been a nice content play, but yeah, he plays juried for one more point. Which is more sensible, but obviously he could have done whatever he wanted there. Oh yeah, there's tons of reasons why Josh couldn't spot any bingos there. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna hold it against him. I certainly am not. Like, it's unfortunate, but yeah, like that's like you guys I think are really privileged to watch like the best of the best in a lot of these streams and videos. And even the best of the best will miss things. So what is he thinking now? I think he's thinking of playing teenies, which is not a word. Chris is up 200 exactly. Is the YouTube stream still running? Let's get some love in the actual stream that this should have been just broadcast on. Like, it's really kind of Josh to have extended his hand and said, hey, let's stream this on your Twitch channel too. But really, the main channel that people should be directed to from this broadcast is Let's Play Scrabble channel on YouTube. So if you're on Twitch and you haven't subscribed to that YouTube channel, I would rather ban you than continue to see you lurking in my chat. J letter bingos are too much for you? Yeah. The J is not easy to form long words with. But yeah, once again, huge thanks to Josh for putting this together and yeah, multi-streaming it. But it looks like if anything happens this turn, it's not going to be good. Reseeing is available, making ing. That's tough to even think about. Like, why would there be a word to the G with 3 E's? Serene is a very tough, high probability word to see. And enemies, I guess. You could find enemies, which is still pretty difficult to come up with. Yinseer. And that's about it, yeah. So if he doesn't spot enemies, he's either going to play a phony word or make another very sad, low-scoring play with 2 E's, which he does. Okay. G for 10. And yeah, this is an interesting moment for the future of Scrabble broadcasting. I am not the best commentator in the world. I'm not even close. But it's very important as a commentator, if games are shown that are very lopsided, to be able to entertain the audience. And sometimes I'm able to do that. Other times, I find it a lot harder because there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of no one really wants to think about the positions in this game. I mean, it's fun to watch the game being played no matter the score, but yeah. All those ing words are just blocked. Yeah, oriented was a really cool play on the previous turn for Josh. Through the OR, the T, and the D on the board. Very nice find by the Atom. So Josh is going to play spinner, I think. Could also make the blank a Y, but he's probably going to make it an R. Hopefully he's not making it a D. Spin is not how that word works. So I'm going to enter that and hope it stays on the board. While Chris has AELOSUY. Yeah, Josh has drawn tiles. So I think Chris is just going to play YOU if he sees it next to the E and the D in jury. That's a very nice way to score points. You can also play the same word with spinnery if that blank is indeed an R, as we assume it to be. Spinnery, I'd totally forgotten was a word. Spinnery. What's a spinnery? Yeah, two people in the chat mentioning that. Oh, okay. So Chris does spot a nice play, a 28.0Y play, which is probably similarly good. I mean, he could have played those same letters, YO, between the P and the A on the right side of the board, making PYA. That would have scored 2 more points, but it also would have blocked that column that I guess a lot of the bingos that Chris would draw would fit there. And yeah, it doesn't really matter whether Josh bingo's there or not because he's too far behind. 434 to 262. Josh is going to play Hayen, overlap, score some points. It's 27 points. It's close to the best play in the position. And also leaves 2 letters in the bag, which is, again, good for timing. As Chris draws the V to go with the U, which demonstrates that maybe by playing the U last turn, he would have been in a slightly better position. Again, it's all relative to the fact that the score is so disproportionate. But yeah, I really do like this setup. I don't know if the tournaments are going to look like this with more prominent racks, but I do agree that showing people's racks in larger form, and please don't take what I'm saying out of the context of Scrabble, is better for the broadcasting or the broadcastability of the game. The problem is there's so much real estate or so little real estate on a Scrabble stream. You need to have a very prominent board, then you need to have all other information as well available to the viewers, such as tournament, record, players' names, scores, times, unseen letters, maybe commentators. So there's a lot of stuff, but I think there's still going to be enough room to put in what's necessary and what looks the best and what broadcasts the best. All right, so yeah, Vasel was definitely the way to go there. Emptying the bag for Chris. Josh has some really nice looking letters. And plays Zilch, which is probably how he feels about this game. That is the best play in the endgame by 5 points over playing something else. So nice find by Josh. Chris Sykes actually has no spots to go out with his tune, T-U-N-E. There are no outplays with that. His best play is playing UN to the fix already on the board and playing unfix for 17. Let's see if he spots that. You think this is close to a perfect layout for competitive Scrabble? Well, thank you, Connell. I will definitely transfer that feedback to Josh. Chris plays ET, which is the second best play. And Josh's best play is very, very cute. Can you guys spot it? I see the play on the screen, but I have no idea where it is, and I've spotted it like while I was saying that, but it took me like 10 seconds to even see where this play plays. And Zilch did block the outplay of Unite. That's correct, Brown. I didn't notice that. It blocked Unite, Untie. So yeah, definitely a great endgame play. But if Josh doesn't spot Knave through the N and the V on the bottom left of the board, he does have a spot for Kea, K-E-A, on top of non-oily, which is only 4 points worse. And Josh still played a better endgame than Chris, so at least he can take solace in that. I think. Yeah. +3. He played 3 points better endgame than Chris Sykes. All right, so that's 2-1 for Chris. Obviously, this isn't a tournament. It doesn't matter. Josh's time isn't actually under 0. But yeah, they probably want to play another game. Hey, Josh. I can't hear you. And we might have a special guest. We might have a special guest joining us for the last game.
Yeah, I'm happy to put our special guest in if our special guest wants to come in. But I don't know,
Okay.
Have you gotten confirmation there? Because I have not.
No, I haven't.
Okay, he said he was going to check in with you, so I think you may be writing it out. So this obviously was the game that I was thinking about when I was saying, hey, why don't we play to a lead of 100? So hopefully you're all right to finish that game off. That was because we hadn't discussed it. I didn't.
Yeah, it was a rough game, but yeah, we should play another one after this.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing, Josh.
Yes.
You played a better end game than Chris by 3 points. So congratulations. Zilch was your best play by far.
Wow, thank you.
And yeah, KO was your second best play. So good on you for that. Yeah, rough high probability racks there. I was trying to tell people the importance of knowing your high probability words because they're so difficult outside of studying them to get right.
Yeah, so were there any...
So you saw Augites.
That is good, eh?
That is good, but you weren't sure.
Yes.
Mug takes a G, by the way.
Oh, it does?
Damn. Yeah, very... That one actually took me a long time to be sure of. But yeah, it would have been clever if you knew that it had a G hook, but I thought you probably would have just played the extra G if you knew.
Yes, well, I figured I had the S and he had just played 7, so...
Yep.
But yeah, good to know. Like Vug. Mug takes.
Yeah, mug vug. Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to remember it.
So
I assume the blank was an R, right? Spinners?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Great. That doesn't really matter. But yeah, I haven't heard anything from special guests, so I think we'll probably just wing it for the last game.
Okay, sounds
And
good. So I think
apologize to the viewers.
for you. Okay. Well, we'll get set up and hop into the game then.
Perfect. All right. Good luck.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, that was our producer and I guess the guy that put this whole thing together, Josh Greenway. So we're gonna have one more game. I'm sure a lot of you are happy about that. Others might have to go, but I appreciate everyone for being here. Josh appreciates it too. I really appreciate. Should I use another word? Let me pull up a thesaurus. It's really cool that I could get the chance to commentate this. Sort of like a behind the scenes test for the upcoming amazing streams that will be had on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. One of which is going to be in 2 weeks. 2 weeks in Albany, New York. I see Twitch people are getting an ad. I apologize. Okay, let's save this to Josh 2 or 3. Let's do a new game. Save as game 1. Great. And I assume Josh will be going first here. You're just happy to be here. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, let's hope this is a better game. We had 2 really good games. This last one wasn't. And 1 game left. Once again, if you're on Twitch, you're probably seeing an ad unless you're subscribed to me. And but you are seeing this comment. Follow Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel and go to their website to see what's going on in the northeastern United States and Canada. So the Albany New Year's tournament is in less than 2 weeks. That one's going to be broadcast right here or right there on the Let's Play Scrabble channel. And yeah, more to come. Canadian Scrabble Classic. That's another one of the upcoming tournaments. Montreal tournament in May, probably. Albany tournament on July 4th, and Lake George tournament. So those are the big events that Let's Play Scrabble is hosting. So Josh going first here, drawing. Very nice. Oh, man. All right, what is he going to make this blank, though? We have to figure out what this blank is. Oh my god, is it an E or an O? I'm going to assume it's an O, right? Isn't that the normal spelling? Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to have to like maybe go back in the game midway if it's not an O. You guys think it's an E? Isn't jailers with an O more common? Can you see the Twitch chat? No, you do have to go to my Twitch channel to see it. Chris is just going to drop JEE for 10. Josh draws OIOIONS. Very nice. Yeah, hopefully we figure out what that blank is sooner than later. But if we don't, I'll have to just act like it's the E, even if on my end it's supposedly an O. So Josh exchanges 6. Okay, doesn't even want to keep the N. Just wants to keep the S. And Chris Sykes is drawn into Lurdane, Launder. Yeah, he's going to play Lurdane pretty quickly. It's one more point if you make G'd, but that would put the L in a very dangerous position on the left end of the board between two triples, but would also prevent G's plays. And I assume that if Josh counts this up, he's going to want to play. He's going to want to play a bingo of Vaseline. But if he doesn't see that, Vins underneath Gier, making Giers is 50 points. So it's a very interesting choice of Lurdane for one fewer point. Like, I think normally if it's just a question of like 1 point, you would play Lurdane where Chris played it. But because there's that underlap that could score so many points, and there's still a triple open starting with that E in Lurdane, and there's still a spot for very high scoring plays on top the A, N, and E. I think Chris's choice was potentially slightly worse. So Josh spots naivetes, but there's no T to play through. And he spots Vins, and he's probably just going to make this play. He's probably going to be satisfied with it, although Vaseline would be very nice. Chris draws quite well, and if the blank is an O, he would have remotion. But does he have anything else? Oh, this is going to be a very interesting situation. Yeah, Evian is a brand name, not a word. That would be a nice word to have in the dictionary. Yeah, I think like if the blank is an E, I don't think Chris has a bingo. But if it's an O, he does, and it's a very tough bingo. So if he doesn't play it, I still won't know what the blank is. The only way I know what the blank is if he plays remotion through it. How many games do Scrabble players tend to play a day? Feels like so much, and you're not even playing. Oh, this is a lot. I mean, it's a lot for me. I'm pretty tired, but I'm used to these like things. At tournaments, honestly, tournaments have become much less draining than streaming is. Tournaments, you play like 7-8 games a day, but you have a big lunch break in between. And it's way more of an open space. You don't have to like sit in the same spot all day. So yeah, it is definitely a marathon, but so what is he thinking of Vane? Has he not counted how much Vins scores? He must not have counted how much Vins scores. Again, you sometimes just have to count your play to see how much it scores, because there's literally no way that he thinks that Vaz for 15 is better than Vins for 50, right? I mean, it does keep a much better leave. Okay, let's go. I was right. Let's go. Remotion being played. Wait, you know what would be really funny? If the blank is actually an E and Chris thinks it's an O. There's no way, right? That couldn't happen. Impossible. But the play is probably being held at the very least. Remotion. 16s was blocked. What? No, it wasn't. Anyways, yeah, this is a lot. Like tournaments, 7 to 8 games is, yeah, it's over 6 hours of play. So it is a lot for sure. But you gotta love it. And if you play enough tournaments, it's really not that bad. But yeah, it's definitely draining. Like sometimes tournaments go on for 5 days. Like those are crazy. Like the national tournaments, 31 games, sometimes 35. Usually tournaments are 14 games. 1-day tournaments are 6, 7, 8 games. Multi-day tournaments can be from 14 to like 20. And then there's just the marathon tournaments. Yeah, Josh spelling out sexiness. He doesn't have the S he needs. He would have if he had played the VAE somewhere else and drawn the exact same letters, which, by the way, never happens. So whenever someone says, oh, I would have drawn this, no, you wouldn't have drawn the same letters. We're not robots. You would have drawn different letters if you played a different play. But people like to say that. It's like, oh, I would have had that. But first of all, you shouldn't have made another play, probably. Second of all, you would have drawn the same letters. So, hello, IP Disciple. Oh, Exene. Yeah, Exene would have been a better play there for 60 points from the E in Lurdane. Chris is wishing he had an A to play Za 2 ways for 64 on top of the A. But he's just going to play, what is he going to do? H Hun? Is that what he's thinking of doing? That would be a good play, H-U-N, even though it keeps... yeah, why are both players just not playing for like a million points under Gears? You know how much Zin's scores under Gears? That's 74 points. 74. These players, both of these guys, I'm going to give them a little talking to. That's so many freaking points. What are these? Like, why are they foregoing this? I was trying to like give you guys a lesson. I'm just really upset. So I was trying to like teach you guys the importance of like not setting up huge S hooks like Jeer does. And yet both of these guys just like, yeah, whatever, 50 points, nah, I don't care. 74 points, whatever, I can do better. I mean, Chris has drawn Za for 64. So, I don't know. Like, Josh actually has no playable bingo, even though he has like amazing letters. But he could play for 42 points using one of his S's. Is he going to do it? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna run a simulation on the Hun turn. It's really like not a huge mistake, but it's just so clear. I don't get it. Yeah, so the engine says like 15-point mistake for a 41-point sacrifice. So, I mean, that goes to show how powerful the Z tile is and how like damaging setting up a triple with the Z would have been, because that Z would have been on the bottom left double letter score. Okay, there you go. Blocking the Z. Oh, this is beautiful. Blocking the Z setup. Oh my gosh. I am so proud of Josh right now. Just ruining Chris's life. He blocks the Za spot. He scores 35, keeps really well. This is great. This is a fantastic move. Amazing job. Chris is probably sitting there like, how could this have happened? I set this up myself. And now he's probably thinking, oh my God, that was such a big spot. Why didn't I play there? All right. Josh is drawn into dip nets. And again, like, you got to know those high probability words. Dip nets. If he doesn't know this word, I don't think he has anything else. And Chris, I mean, he's going to have to revert to some really poor play here. Like, it's hard to even find a move for Chris. He's all set to play for 64, and now his best option might be 17 points. Oh, so he's showing Josh what he blocked, and he's just dropping the Z there for 32. And that blocks dip nets in the better spot. So, yeah, I need to update the scores. I apologize. The scores are now 178 to 214. Yeah, stipend is a word as well. I guess, yeah, if you see stipend, you play that. Like, that's a regular word. For some reason, I forgot about that word. Josh is, there you go. Okay, he's put the S in the right spot. He's thinking of spintled, which is not a word, or maybe spinted. But he could maybe spot stipend from this position with the S on the right part of the word. ST. Yeah, he's... Nope. Okay. He hasn't spotted it. So yeah, stipend is harder to see than dip nets, unless you speak English, in which case stipend is a common word and dip nets is not. Tip, send, close, tis penned, close, no. So close, yet so far. Dip, yeah, he clearly doesn't know dip nets. He would have seen it like with dip in that position. He might just play pan for 11, which is a good play. Doesn't need to bingo now. I mean, it'll help for sure. Again, like, Josh keeps getting these really nice racks, but if you don't know the words or haven't studied them, they're just so hard to spot organically. So, yeah. Study up, folks. I'm sorry to say. What are we watching, IP Disciple? We're watching a test stream. New board setup. Josh has built this board himself. Looks very nice and stream friendly. Rotates pretty nicely. Camera could be better, but that's just dependent on basically the quality of the cell phone camera that's being used. So this board is a mobile, unconnected board, which has a camera that follows the motion of the board. Also, is pre-motion a word? Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, it is in columns. Yeah, the camera follows the motion of the board. It's attached to the board. So if you turn it, it follows it. But it's not attached to the streaming software or computer being used, which means that, yeah, wires aren't going to get tangled up. The rack cams are obviously connected to something. But that's okay. Like, as long as people can rotate the board as much as they want, that's what we want. We want players to be able to play Scrabble somewhat normally. And he spots stipend. Let's go. I didn't even notice he spotted it after all that. So that's hard work transferring into success. That is a perfect example of what to aspire to in life. Yeah, well done to Josh. He did not give up on the play. And he finds stipend. So Josh is rated around 1,400. Chris Sykes rated around 1,900. Josh is more of an organizer, director, producer, streamer, content creator, social animal, and Chris is a top expert player from the Toronto area. They're playing in Toronto. I'm commentating from Montreal, and this is going very well. So a very successful test stream, if I may say so myself. Definitely tweaks to be made. The rack cams are great. They're gigantic. People get to see what tiles people have in a substantial, high quality little bubble. You see the unseen tiles on the top left. We see the nice branding, LetsPlayScrabble.com. We see the scores, we see the timer. It's perfect. It is perfect. All the dictionaries confuse you, yes. That is the one thing that if like fixed, Scrabble would just be so much better off. So, okay, we weren't talking about Chris's position. He could have used his S immediately and played scab, but that would have kept GII. So he's opting to retain the last S. There are no more S's to be drawn other than the one that Chris has. And he's hoping to use it to pluralize stipends for a better word. Soon. So, okay, Josh quickly plays aha, gets rid of 2 of his 3 A's. This is a reasonable play for sure. Maybe even the best play. Chris draws. Yes, he drew RR. So now he can play cigars, tie the game up, and retain an R, which is a good letter. And the board's going to be very difficult to work with after that play. I mean, it already is kind of hard to work with. So I'm assuming Chris is going to probably want to do that, but maybe he's going to retain the S again and just use its power to try and draw into a bingo with it, which is also very reasonable. I would play cigars for 42, making stipends. This is what he's doing. That does create a scoring spot next to that A, but it's not going to get you that far, and we know the Z is already gone. So, yeah, I like this play. Puts Chris up by 1 point, and Josh just has 1 point tiles. We call these sticks. Tiles that don't get you anywhere unless you play all of them at once. So Josh's highest scoring move here, I think, is 19 points, which is not what you want your highest scoring move to score. So, yeah. It's going to be a tough turn for him. But the good thing is that pretty much anything he does is not going to be that much better than anything else. So if he just makes a regular looking play, can't be that bad. Scarring was blocked. Oh my gosh, yeah, aha blocked scarring through the end. So that was probably very unfortunate for Christopher. Growly suggests there's a possibility for Chris through the Ellen Lurdane, but maybe don't want to do that. Maybe you do. I think if I were in Chris's shoes, yes, he's considering playing a Villa, which is really not a bad play. If I were in Chris's shoes, I would want to try and fight Josh on a closed board. I mean, yeah, this is definitely not the best play Villa, because it does just create some counterplay. But it's really not that bad. Chris is probably quickly going to play Wooly through the second L in Villa. That scores 30 points and takes the lead. But now now he can play Growly. Now he can play Growly through the second L, which actually might be a better play because it gives less counterplay and gets rid of the G. But there are tons of O's, as you can see. So getting rid of both O's is probably smart here. Actually, I want to run a little bit of a simulation there to see. I think Growly might be slightly better, but it's very close. I mean, keeping an O and an I is never great, but because Wooly opens a very nice, juicy scoring spot to the left of the W and the O, might be worth not doing that. Yeah, Growly, okay. The engine thinks Growly is slightly better, but too close to call. Chris now ahead by 21. And Josh, if he wants to, can just overlap, like I said. He's looking at the play that I'm looking at as well. U-Y-E-W for 33 points. Doesn't open anything. Doesn't have any hooks. Scores really well. And the letters you're leaving aren't great, but, I mean, they're not the worst. But we see Chris has drawn that last blank, and that is huge for him. So even though he's down a tempo, yeah, this is really good. But imagine if he had played Growly, he might have like O-O-O-I-I-I blank or something. O-O-O-O-I-I blank. And Josh drawing the Q. He draws the Q to go with the U. That's very good for him. What I am expecting to see is Chris playing something like Logoi, L-O-G-O-I, from the L in Villa that's still somewhat open. That'll score 13 points and get rid of those annoying duplicate O's and the I. I did say that, IP Disciple. I did say that. You caught me. Goo, gum, and oh no. Yeah, no, I think I like Logo Eye. It's a very bizarre looking play. Oh, we see a little bit of hair cam there. Very nice. I think I like the play of Logo Eye. And even though Josh has drawn QU, not sure he has anything good with it that I can see. So, yeah, you might want to keep the QU and just hope to get something better. I mean, he has Aqua, I guess. Gerchi! Thank you for the raid, Gerchi. I know you're not seeing any message or anything because this is somebody else hijacking my stream. This is not my overlay in the slightest. But I really appreciate Gerchi bringing in 12 viewers on Twitch. I hope your stream went well. And we're seeing OI be played. So right now we're watching some live casual games from downtown Toronto. He played between Josh Greenway, who's rated around 1,400, Chris Sykes rated around 1,900, and it's a very tight game, with Chris having the advantage here because he has the last blank. Yeah. So, did he draw into anything? I don't like the play of OI. I think he just missed Logo I. Again, these players, I just want to say these people keeping the G on their rack, it rubs me the wrong way. Just, I don't understand why people are okay with leaving G's on their rack. It just doesn't make sense to me. So what's Josh going to do? I mean, the only thing I can spot with this QU is Aqua. So the A in jail. Oh, but that was just blocked by Ono. So there's no Aqua anymore. So I think he just has to What's interesting is he has a spot to just drop his cube for 22. On top of the I in Villa. Yeah, Qua does work there, actually, Doey Joey, on YouTube. Qua for 23. That still does work. Yeah, that's better than dropping the cube, for sure, getting rid of the U. I don't know. The problem is if you keep the Q and the board doesn't create a spot for it, it's just such a heavy toll that it, what do you call it? Okay, Josh is looking at Cot and Pat, which would block that spot to bingo. Because, yeah, there's a lot of space on that second to bottom row that Chris could use to his advantage. And after a play like OI, Josh is probably thinking that Chris must be close to something. So he's definitely considering making a defensive play. Oh no! How did I not see this? Wait, why is this play not even being suggested by... That's so easy. Yeah, that's a great play. 32 points. Wow, just totally missed that. The Adam spotted it. You played a game with triple challenge. Game ended when you played Egypt. Triple challenge means that... oh yeah, and drooling. I also missed that. Triple challenge means if somebody challenges a word unsuccessfully, they lose instantly. And if someone challenges a word successfully, the play comes off and the player that played it loses instantly. That's triple challenge. It's a really stupid but meme format. So what must have happened is your opponent must have challenged Egypt and lost the game. So drooling comes down and Josh is down 35 now with 10 in the bag, but a lot of junk. So we'll see what Chris draws here. Josh seeing merengue. How do you pronounce that? Doesn't fit. Okay, wow. Chris has drawn AU, which is already great. And the last E. Okay, that's a great draw for Chris. I think Chris is going to win the game now. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, Josh has drawn the M for mono, that's true. But he would not want to leave both of those triples open. So we might see him play something like Neem alongside the DR and O. Merengue, thank you. Anyways, yeah. We're streaming on YouTube on the Let's Play Scrabble channel. We're streaming on Twitch on Axer Typo channel. So I'm hoping people from both fronts are enjoying the content. Unfortunately, I have to run a live tournament tomorrow. I guess that's fortunate. Like, I'm really happy to be able to do that. I love running tournaments. But man, am I going to have trouble with the amount of voice that I've lost today. I'll drink some lemon chamomile tea or something. So, unmerge. Oh boy. All right. Game over. That is a good try. That is a good try, but that is not a word, and Chris will have no trouble challenging it off. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still hasn't challenged. 14 seconds have elapsed. Wow. He's on hold. Oh, this is a lot. 30 seconds have elapsed. It's a very plausible word. But Chris should know to challenge this. I mean, it puts him in... I guess it doesn't put him in a terrible position. 86. I feel like it does, because he does have a very high scoring play of Peak, P-E-A-K, next to drooling. How much does that score? That scores 50. It ties the game up. But I think... Okay, Josh is drawing his tiles. Let's put the position in with unmerged being on the board. I guess the unseen tiles are really bad. So it could be that Chris is pretty sure this isn't a word, but is pretty sure he's going to win even if it stays on the board. So he could be thinking about it and wondering, like, because after playing Peak, the score would be 439 to Josh, 438 to Chris. And in that endgame, I think Josh would win because he hasn't drawn the V. There's an unseen V lurking and another F that Josh does not have. So the unseen tiles from Chris's perspective right now are Josh's rack plus F TV. So the fact that the F and the TV are still in the bag really makes it look like Josh is in way worse shape than he would actually be. So if Chris accepts, this is this is kind of a tough position. I just thought that Chris would just not recognize this and challenge it. But if he challenges and he's wrong, he's probably going to lose. And if he challenges and he's right, he's definitely going to win. But if he lets the play go, he's probably in a pretty good position. So he's giving this a lot of thought, I think. I don't think he's accepted the play yet. The engine has no idea. Like, the engine doesn't know how likely Chris is to win. Hold on a sec. Fix my voice. The engine gives this as like a 25% win after Peak, which once again is right next to the I, the blank, and the G in drooling, and would tie the game up. Right now, the scores, I haven't updated the scores because I'm assuming that the play on merge has not been accepted. But if it is accepted, then I'll update the scores to the earliest convenience. Like if Chris puts a play on the board, that means he's letting the play go. So yeah, the engine's giving like 25% chances after Peak, but it's also liking another play that cannot be as good as it thinks it is. So yeah, I don't trust the engine here at all. I think that Chris is winning a lot of endgames after Peak, because even if Josh has a winning play or multiple winning plays in those endgames, again, he's the weaker player and he might not see said plays and he might not recognize that they are winning plays. And again, unseen to Chris is what Josh has plus FTV. And those are possibly the best letters Josh could have left in the bag for his current rack. I think this is like the best possible rack Josh could have. Maybe if he left the B in the bag instead of the F. But this is a very good draw after unmerge. Wow, we're getting some fireworks in this final game. So Josh has drawn tiles. This does not mean that Chris has elected to allow his play to stand. It just means that Chris is potentially putting more thought into it. It's a very pivotal position. But in Scrabble, you're not allowed to just prevent your opponent from drawing their tiles forever. So even if you're considering challenging a word, your opponent can still pick tiles and see what they would do if the play remains on the board. But if the play does get challenged off, what will happen is Chris will see what letters Josh has drawn. Josh will have to show Chris his letters and put them back in the bag. Now, in this particular instance, there isn't much of a benefit to being shown the unseen letters, or being shown the letters that were drawn, because there are so few letters left. But often in the middle of a game, if you get a play challenged off after you've drawn your letters, okay, Chris does challenge. But yeah, sometimes the information can be vital, like what your opponent has drawn. And yeah, Chris taking his time, doing his diligence, and yeah, ending up making the right decision, challenging on merge. Josh is going to show Chris the letters he drew, which once again doesn't have much of an impact here, but it could. So you could elect never to draw your tiles until your opponent makes a play or elects to challenge a play. It's up to you. Josh elected to draw his tiles, and yeah, there really wasn't much of a downside to doing that. Sometimes you can like not draw your tiles to try and induce your opponent into challenging. Like there's a lot of psychological stuff as well. But yeah, now this is a very easy win for Chris after peak for 50. Josh is going to, I guess it's not over actually. Omasop phone pin. Yeah, I mean, that did happen at the the national championship, the Scrabble Players Championship, where once again Chris leaving the V in the bag. Yeah, I think a lot of people saw my phone pin. I mean, that's whatever. So people were told to change their phone pins after those were shown on live stream. So I guess I'll let Josh know that maybe there was visibility, or whoever's phone it was, but it's not that big of a deal. YouTube upload blurted out. Yeah, good. Anyways, Josh could try. So he's playing gem because he doesn't know geum, Geum, 4-letter word, very useful. He can still win if he draws into a bingo in 2 spots. He can still win. So I did say that it's like a definite win for Chris if he challenges on merge off, but there's actually still some poison here. There's no way for Josh to draw something with what Chris has in the top left area of the board. So what Chris needs to do here is figure out what Josh could have on the second to bottom row, if anything, and block there if he needs to. He knows that Josh has retained RENU, and there's actually 0 threat here. There's no threat. Josh can't actually draw into anything. Thanks to Chris drawing that O and that I after peak. If Chris hadn't drawn the O and the I, there would be multiple threats possible, I think, on multiple areas of the board, which he would have had to try and fend off as best he could. But in this position, there's actually no threat. So looks like Chris is going to take this one, but a great game 4. Yeah, we had a good 3 out of 4 games were really good. So yeah, It's awesome to see Josh holding his own against a top expert. Because, yeah, as we know, Josh does most of his work in the Scrabble community not by playing, but by facilitating other people playing the game, by hosting tournaments, by creating content, and we're very thankful for that. So, Chris is going to draw BTT from the bag. She knew he was going to draw 3 consonants if he remembered what Josh had with this play of gem. He had both the remaining vowels from Chris's perspective. So BTT is being drawn. Is Josh holding the play of QD? Could be. I feel like that's like, isn't that the most common spelling? I mean, it could just not be a spelling. Yeah, now for this endgame, is there more than one spot for the V? Yeah. So there's no fear for Josh of getting stuck with the V. He can spot, if he can spot DEV from the D in Lurdane, NAV from the N in stipends, he can happily play Funder and PAR on the second to bottom row, leaving himself with the V in 2 spots. And, oh, he also has Vex at the top. So normally in endgames, you have to be very, very wary of the V tile because it doesn't make any 2-letter words. So you'll often have nowhere to play it by itself on the board. But in this case, there's no worries there. He's looking at playing Vend and Pad, which makes sense as well. But that won't allow him to go out next turn, I think. But it doesn't matter. At this point, it is moot. This isn't a tournament. It's just a live game. So Josh is just going to want to make a play and not go overtime. But of course, he does want to make a good play. You always want to make a good play. Josh plays Vend, leaving himself with Fur. Like I said, doesn't have a spot to go out. Chris is going to play Foot, which is actually 1 point worse than playing Boot for 3 fewer points, because the F and the T combine better than the B and the T. But again, nobody's making these calculations except me. Josh's best play is to play Fur, not with the U, but with the I in Villa. Wouldn't just Gum be better than Gem? Yep. But I think the reason Josh didn't play Gum is because we have this rule of thumb / aversion to keeping 2 of the same letters. So we'll often look at plays that get rid of our duplicate letters before looking at plays that retain those duplicates. But of course, we know that 2 E's are better than an E and a U. Those that study the game, I guess, know that, but it's not like obvious. So Josh is just gonna, okay, he's gonna smoke a cigarette, and Chris is gonna go out with Bit for 12, I assume, and that'll be it. That is our bit, and Chris is gonna win 506 to 404. Final score. Sorry for not updating that as well as I could. So a very high-scoring game to end things off. Congrats to Chris. He takes 3 out of the 4 games. He stole game 2, completely destroyed Josh in game 3, and had a very good game 4.
Hey there.
Yeah, great series. Hey, Josh. Well played. Good game to both of you.
Thank you. I want to say thanks so much, Josh, for hopping on here and doing commentary and all the scoring. And if anybody is on YouTube who is not subscribed to your Twitch channel or your YouTube channel, they should run out and do that because you're doing awesome stuff.
Hey, no worries. My pleasure, man. I always love doing these things. Really, really nice setup. This was a success. The test was a success. You played well. You held your own. Thanks, Chris, as well for coming and playing. And yeah, we love the content. So keep up the content, Josh. I'm sure everyone that's on this YouTube channel knows if you want to watch high-level tournament games, then that is where you will want to be on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. You've been posting almost daily tournament game videos, so yeah, it's really awesome. No other channel's doing that.
Yeah, more live Scrabble coming up over the New Year's break. So that's going to be very exciting, especially featuring some awesome players like Josh Sokol and Adam Logan. So everybody should come on back and try watching some even higher level Scrabble.
Hey, Adam Logan's really good. Yeah, he's a very good Scrabble player. Anyways.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and big thanks to Josh, big thanks to Chris, and yeah, I'm glad we did this.
Cool. Yeah, thanks a lot, Josh. Good games, and I'll see you soon. Talk to you soon.
Very
Keep
good.
up the
Goodbye,
great work.
everybody.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Holding.
Bye.